Hello and welcome to the Golf Course Lawn Show. My name is Ron Henry and I'm here to help answer your lawn care questions. Now, if this is the first time you're joining us, welcome. Super happy to have you here. The way this works is really simple. On your screen, you will see a chat box. And in that chat box, you can enter your question, concern, comment of the day, and I work through them in the order that they come in. Now, sometimes I have the answer, sometimes I do not. But either way, we have an awesome time talking about lawn care and sometimes life. Guys, we are entering the middle part of June. It is crazy how fast 2025 is flying. It's one of those old people things, you know, as you get older, time seems to go by a lot faster. But yeah, it's been a fun season so far. Lawn is doing really well. Lots of great projects. We got, as far as what's on the agenda tonight, we got updates from folks. Some folks from up north in Connecticut sent us some pictures of their lawn. We have some lawn renovation projects to include like a Bermuda renovation, which is kind of cool, as well as folks just sharing some of the results they've gotten from from Growth Regulator and that type of thing. Should be a fun show tonight. You know, tonight we figure that we're getting into the hotter time of the year. It's not too late to still get out there and do your lawn renovation project. So hopefully you guys have got some good questions about that. As always, we're coming to you guys live on YouTube as our main platform, but you can also watch the show on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So whichever way works best for you. And yeah, we'll do our best to include everyone that is part of the show. So we'll see if we can have a good grand old time talking about lawn care tonight. All right, so let's see who we have in the show this evening. Let's starting it off. We have Upper 510 has a question about plant growth regulator, a topic near and dear to my heart. Says, hello, Ron. Can you use PGR all year to include summer months? Should you lower the PGR dose during the warmer months if summer usage is applicable? A great question. Yeah, so as far as when you can use a plant growth regulator, as long as your lawn is actively growing, you can use PGR. As far as not using it during the summer months, no, you would use it during the summer months as well. So I start using plant growth regulator. This year I started earlier as a test in like mid-March, but normally I wait till April to begin doing that. And I spray a PGR on my lawn every 2 weeks until we get into September, October timeframe. So as long as your lawn is actively growing, you can use plant growth regulator. Big thing is you just want to stick to the label rates. That's the important thing. You know, don't get too aggressive. Again, whenever you use Primo, especially if it's the first time, if you're using something like Trinexapac Ethyl, you're going to look at the amount that the label calls for. And if you're doing it the way that I recommend, which is you take the label rates, cut them in half, and spray it every 2 weeks, you're going to look at it and you're going to say, there's no way that little bit amount of that product could possibly produce a result. But as long as you stick to the rates, you don't get too heavy-handed, you're not going to really have any adverse effects using plant growth regulator. So hopefully that helps. Upper 510, the answer is yes, you can use it all season long. I start, as soon as the grass is beginning to really take off, start growing, and then I shut it down typically in the September, October timeframe, and I am in Northeast Georgia. So you can adjust accordingly based on where you are in the country. Hopefully that helps. Guys, as always, if you want to contribute to the show and help support us, you can give a Cash App. That is the link right there. I will be monitoring it here. Got my phone up here. So if you have any comments, questions about that, well, I'll take a note here. And if I see some, then that's the way how you can become the show sponsor. Just bear with me though. I'm having to like glance at my phone to see when one comes in. Great question, Upper 510. Great way to start the live stream off. You know, on the topic of plant growth regulator, because I got some pictures here, and one of the folks that sent me a picture was Mr. Kevin. It's Kevin Hester, isn't it? Isn't it you, Kevin, that sent me the pictures of PGR? So Kevin is not just using Primo, which near and dear to my heart, love me some Primo Max, right? But a combination you can do for even better results, better regulation. And also if you happen to have a lawn that has common Bermuda mixed in with hybrid, you can use Primo along with a new EZ, these two together, and it does a great job making sure that both grass types, both the hybrid and common Bermuda, grow evenly. So it does a better job regulating them. So Kevin sent us a picture of his lawn using that exact combo, using Primo and a new EZ. And I mean, prepare yourself, because overall, I think most people would agree that's a pretty good looking stand of turf grass. The stripe action is on point, and the lawn looks great. This picture was received 2 days ago. So, we're getting the hotter time of the year, and he's still spraying Primo and a new EZ every 2 weeks, just like we recommend. And yeah, it's a great combo. If any of you guys are interested in knowing exactly what I'm talking about, Ron saying, using 2 different plant growth regulators, what's he on about? I will send you a blog that we did. It's been a couple of years at this point now on plant growth regulator that you can check out, and has like the method that I like to use for spraying Primo and a new EZ, which is every couple of weeks, along with rates for different grass types, all that jazz. So if you're interested, you can take a look at this, and it's absolutely free. It costs you nothing but a little bit of your time. Let's see if I can get this to pull up right here, and there it is, right there. All right, so let me get this here up for you guys on the that's interesting how Google rewrote that title. Interesting. That's interesting. All right. Okay, yeah. So this is the blog post on plant growth regulator on PGR. So if you're interested, feel free to take a look at this. And again, doesn't cost you anything, a little bit of time. There you go. All right. So guys, one topic, and I'll repeat this a couple of times during the show. If you are interested in providing feedback, you know what I mean? We're always looking for feedback on how we can do things better about the lawn challenges that you guys have. You'll notice there's a pinned comment if you are on YouTube. And if you're not on YouTube, so I realize not everybody's on YouTube, you can check out the form here, which I will link in the chat for all the other platforms now. If you go and fill that out, it takes about a minute of your time. At the end, you will receive a discount code that will save you 5% off of your next order. Now, the bad thing is it ends tonight at midnight, because it's been going on since last week, Wednesday, I think is when we launched it. So tonight, Friday the 13th at midnight is when it ends. So go out, give us your feedback, and we'd love to hear from you, as far as challenges that you're having in your lawn. Again, it takes about a minute to fill out. And then based on that, that'll help drive our content, going forward, and as well as a few other things. So wait for you to save and for you to also help us out at the same time. All right, we got Ted Rogers. I see you, Ted. Thank you so much for the Cash App, sir. Let me get you up here, put some respect on your name. Let's see. So for show sponsor, Mr. Ted Rogers. And is it Rogers? Rogers, right? Yeah, it is. There we go. So there you go, sir. Your name in lights for whatever that means to you. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Okay, moving on. We now have Mr. Jackie Bear saying, happy Friday, everybody. Have an excellent stream. Thank you so much, Jackie Bear. I really do appreciate that. And then next up, we got Mr. Tom Hoffenkamp. He says, happy Friday, y'all. Solid lawn weekend ahead. Half month fert and fungus and PGR time. You got a lot going on. You weren't kidding. This is the weekend where you're just kind of stacking it all together. I see, Tom. I see what you're doing. I may have 100% Bermuda picture, finally, after the overseas spraying out top dressing delays, ate up my April and May. You know, it's funny you say that, Tom, because Robert Rainey did this last year, I want to say. Not so that, let me see, 2023 going into 24 over that winter. And his lawn was absolutely gorgeous with the overseed. And, you know, a question I have to ask him, I haven't, is if he would consider doing it again. Now, he didn't do it this past year, so I think that kind of gives me the answer. It'd be an interesting question for you, given everything that you went through. You know, I'm sure you enjoyed it when it was in the fall, early spring. Your lawn's the only green one when everyone else's lawn is dormant. Given the, you going through the process that you're going through now to have to get rid of the ryegrass to get the Bermuda to reestablish and really take off, would you do it again? Like in other words, if given that you've given up, so it sounds like April and part of May, was the juice worth the squeeze to where this fall you'd consider doing it again? I'd like to hear that if you're still around in the live stream and just can just chat in there and I'll get your answer. But yeah, man, send us a picture. It'd be cool to see how the lawn is coming in now that you are 100% Bermuda. You know, and Ted did send us a picture of his backyard. And goodness gracious, that is a thing. You know, I'm not even really a fescue guy, Ted. But you know what? You're kind of making me like it. You know, you kind of, man, that is beautiful. All right. So I'll show you guys. I'm looking at it. It doesn't do you guys any good. So picture of Ted's lawn. This is his backyard. That's actually the sky, but this is his backyard. And I mean, even if you don't like stripes, you gotta put some respect on that. I mean, the man, looks like he's got the diamond pattern going on. Overall, looks really good, man. That is mint. Mint, Ted. Nice work, sir. Looks fabulous. Again, thank you so much for the donation via Cash App. And you know, if I can help with anything as you continue to work on your lawn, let me know. But it looks like you don't need my help anymore, man. Like you're well on your way. You're gonna be teaching a class soon. All right, next up we got Mr. Darren Proctor. He says, happy Father's Day to everyone. I can't see you, but I can hear you getting my cut in before it rains the next 5 days here in Maryland. Yeah, man. So thanks so much for that, Darren. Appreciate you coming by to say, wish everyone a happy Father's Day. And it's been a crazy spring. Like we've had so much rain. I can't remember us having this much consistent rain in Georgia. Like you haven't really had to run your irrigation at all this season yet. I mean, if you're at least in Northeast Georgia, you really haven't had to. So it's been interesting. If I look at the forecast, there's supposed to be rain for the next, supposed to rain today, no surprise. But then really all the way through Thursday of next week, there is rain every day in the forecast in my area in Georgia, which is crazy. It's kind of nice, but also means makes mowing more challenging. I have to get there when I get like a couple hours of dry weather, sneak out and get the mow done really quickly. So I got my mow done today, so I'm good. Don't have to mow tomorrow. We'll see if Sunday will cooperate to where I can mow the lawn again. All right. Well, again, thanks so much, Darren. Hopefully you are enjoying the mow. Send us a picture sometime when you get a free minute of how the lawn is coming along. All right. Next up is Mr. Aaron Pate. He says, hey, Ron, I just had some more St. Augustine installed. The installer laid out some starter fertilizer under the sod. How long should I wait to apply half a pound of nitrogen per month? I would give it 30 days, Aaron. So if your lawn was just sodded, they added fertilizer as part of the sodding process, just give it a month, give it 30 days, 4 weeks. And then you can, start with your feeding program. The thing I would tell you is once the sod begins to root in, don't be afraid to get out there and put a mower on it. As soon as it's beginning to tack down and you're seeing new growth, go ahead and mow it. I mean, don't mow it short. Go and mow it at a height that's appropriate for your St. Augustine. That's going to help encourage new growth and it's going to really help the lawn to establish that much faster. So, one of the questions folks ask me is about the zoysia lawn in the front. It's almost 2.5 months old at this point. It was installed April 2nd or 3rd, and we are the 13th of June now. So a little over 2 months. And the question that people ask is, you installed it. I've never seen zoysia establish that quickly and look good that quickly. And the big thing is mowing. So as soon as, listen, man, as soon as it was down and I could go over there and I could lift up a corner and it wasn't moving, I said, okay, time to real mow. And as soon as I put a mower on it, I've been very consistent with mowing it, several times per week just to help encourage new growth. And the lawn loves it as long as the equipment you're using is nice and sharp and it's tacked down well, so it's rooting in. That is going to help encourage new growth. And again, my front lawn is proof in the pudding. Like I've been doing. Outside of this past weekend, because I was busy this past weekend, I've been doing an update every day showing you guys how the lawn is progressing, and I'm very happy with it. Given how slow zoysia grows, it's coming along really nicely. So Aaron, that's the only piece of advice I would give you, man. Wait a month, obviously, to answer your question as far as starting to fertilize the lawn. But as soon as it begins tacking down, you're starting to see new growth. Don't be afraid to get a mower on it, even if you're just taking just a taste, just the tips off. Still a good thing. It's going to help the lawn to establish and really begin growing in that much faster. All right, next up is Mr. Robert Rain. He says, good evening. What's going on, Robert? Hopefully you're doing well. I was just talking about you, man. Your ears must be burning. Ears must be burning if you would do it again. Would you do it again as far as overseeding with ryegrass? We got Mr. Jason Harrison. It's like all the Academy members are stopping by saying, what's going on, Jason? Hopefully you're doing well. And then we got Michael Thomasson saying, hey, Ron, what's going on, Michael? Hopefully you're doing well. So guys, we have some pictures from Michael. A bit of a background. Michael is the guy that is, here's the thing. I had Bermuda and I went to zoysia, which is relatively easy, right? And you don't have to, I would say that the kill off has to be absolutely perfect because now we have a way to get rid of Bermuda that breaks through the zoysia, right? Recognition and Fusillade. We have the magic elixir to be able to knock out Bermuda grass in zoysia while leaving the zoysia grass in pretty good shape. However, going from Bermuda to Bermuda, in my opinion, that's officially hard mode. That is, you really gotta know what you're getting into. You gotta make sure you do a really good job killing off the existing grass. So Michael Thomasson is doing that. He's going from, I think it's Tifway 419 to Tahoma 31. And he sent some pictures in showing his process, like how the lawn looked before, how he's done a round of glyphosate and Fusillade, and how he intends to do some more. So we can go a little bit of story time. We can show you guys what he's working with here. And this is going on several weeks now to get to this point. I believe, according to the email he sent me, he's going to be doing another round of recognition of Fusillade and glyphosate, and then a few weeks after that, then the Tahoma 31 goes in. So, enough jibber jabber. This is where we start. So this is where the lawn was. Overall, nice, great color. I don't think anyone would really have a problem with that. But to him, he's like, it's not good enough. All the cool kids these days are doing this Tahoma 31 thing, so I want to try it out. So this means that the 419 has got to go. So you see that's where he was. And then afterwards, he took this time to go out and install irrigation because, if you figure you're going out, you're going to be killing off the lawn. It's going to be looking ugly anyway. Why not, make it a little bit uglier by going ahead and installing irrigation while you're at it. So he goes out, sprays, I keep saying recognition, Fusillade and glyphosate. And this is where we end up next. So you can see a few weeks later, that's what he's looking like. The Bermuda, you can still see some green in there, here and there, but overall, the Bermuda, I think that's officially hating life. We can say that. Another shot, you can still see some green through there. This picture is probably a little bit earlier, but you can see how the Bermuda is dying off slowly as the glyphosate and Fusillade 2 takes effect. His vanity strip also dying off. And yeah, this is a little bit further on where we can see how the color's really starting to go out of it. And then there we are. So again, very nice for you to send this to us, Michael. And again, it's been a couple of weeks since he's sprayed glyphosate and Fusillade 2. So it is a slower working combination. What I found whenever I use it in the mulch beds is you will spray along with glyphosate and Fusillade. And for the most part, for the first 10 days, and again, this is temperature dependent, but first 10 days, you're not really going to see a whole lot. What you may notice is the lawn is going to lose. If it was really bright green, like how his lawn started out, it'll become a bit more dull in appearance. And then between that 2 to 3 week period, it's really going to accelerate as far as how it's dying off. So that's what I'm seeing here in these pictures. Looks like you're doing a great job. I'd say one more round just to be safe is going to be your best bet, because remember, once you put the Tahoma 31 in, the last thing you really want is leaving the existing grass alive while you do that, because then you're going to have breakthrough right away. It's going to be quite a mess. So to give yourself the best chance to have, mainly Tahoma 31 in your lawn, another round of Fusilade and glyphosate would be in order to get that, dead. Get it completely gone. Get it completely gone. This is looking pretty good though. Looking pretty good, but I can still see a hint of green there throughout. So we need it to be, we need it to look like completely dormant Bermuda grass. And to me, that dead is how it needs to be before you go and scrape it all out and then bring in the Tahoma 31. Should be a pretty awesome project, man. Keep us posted. Keep taking pictures of it. Thank you so much for sharing it with us, because I know most folks see renovations where they will, they'll see a lawn looking like that. It's normally when it's dormant or when they are about to oversee with perhaps ryegrass, or they are changing from Bermuda to zoysia, like what I've done. But it's not very often we get people that are going from one Bermuda cultivar to another. So it's gonna be interesting to see how that works out for you. All right, next up, we have True Gator Fan. He says, happy Friday, Ron and Turf Talk Gang. Ready for another great show while getting a mow in. Man, it's a thing. I guess, is this just something for you guys to do? You got me on in the background while you're mowing your grass? I get it. I mean, it's not a bad way to pass time while you're working on your lawn. Very, very cool. Thanks for stopping by and letting us know, True Gator Fan. And then next up is Jason Harris. He says, motor started floating. Will be verticutting Monday. Yep, 'tis the season. 'Tis the season. If you have not verticut your lawn yet for this year, you're probably going to start having the issues that Jason is talking about, where the mower will begin to float, and then by extension, you'll start getting scalping or uneven cutting in areas. So the way to correct that is you can do a mid-season scalp, which is kind of a sledgehammer approach to it. Doesn't produce the best looking lawn while it's recovering. Or you could verticut it, which is a gentler way of thinning out the lawn, encouraging new growth, kind of giving the lawn a mild reset to where you can hit the rest of the season going. Like you, Jason, I got to do the same thing on my lawn. I got to get do a verticut here soon. I'm not sure if this weekend, maybe next weekend, I'll plan for doing that, because it does need it. All right, next up, we got Billy Bob saying, hey, Ron, what's going on, Billy Bob? Hopefully you're doing all right. I think this is Morrow, but if that's who I think it is, thanks for coming by to say hi. I appreciate you taking some time out of your Friday to come by and say hello. And then next up, we got Colin in the live stream. He says, what's up, Ron? Hopefully your Friday has been well. Tuning in for the great Turf Talk. Lawns are getting there for me. Should be looking real good by the end of the month. I think did you send me some pictures, Colin? I think you did. I'm trying to see if I think you may have sent them early. Yeah, you just sent me one picture. So I can show the folks what you're working with as far as how the lawn is looking. And I agree with you, man. This color looks great. For not Bermuda grass, I think this is Seashore Paspalum is what he's got. It looks great, man. Color looks really nice. So I'll show the folks what you're working with here. The edge work, as always, is on point. Let's see if this loads. It's a pretty big picture. And there you go. Strap action looks good. The edging looks good. And I agree with you, man. By the end of the month, another couple of weeks, it will be fully filled in and looking primo. So nice work, man. Overall, really, really nice. Great job. Color looks great. And to your point, it's only going to get better as the season progresses. That's the thing with lawn care that's fun. It's funny. I got a comment from someone the other day on YouTube, and they said, so don't you get tired of like mowing your grass, and you mow it and then you get weeds in it, I'm like, not really. It's the chase. It's the chase that's more fun. Like I said, if you could sell awesome lawn in a bottle, like if I had like a product, I could say, hey, this is like awesome lawn in a bottle. Just buy this, spray it on your lawn. You never have to mow. Your lawn is always perfectly green. There's never any disease, no insect problems. There's never any challenges. Your lawn will always be perfect. I mean, some folks would really like that, but a lot of people, like most of the folks on here, you guys would, you'd probably get it, try it out, and be like, well, I guess time for a new hobby. No point in messing with my lawn anymore, since it's now going to be perfect forever. And people wouldn't really value it, right? So the thing that's cool about lawn care, it's kind of like the cool about really becoming exceptional in anything, is that getting your lawn perfect, while it's nice to be able to appreciate how far you've come, like the process of getting there is what I actually find more fun. So I think most of you guys are probably the same way. And Colin, enjoy it. Enjoy the fact that it's getting a little bit better, a little bit greener every day, and you'll be in good shape at the end of this month. Okay, next up we got Jason Carney. He says, got my Revolution 26 about a month ago, and I'm really not establishing stripes like you do. I'm cutting at 1/2 inch. Is there some magic that you're doing? Because it ain't happening for me. Advice. Now, there is magic, Jason. There is magic. And, normally I wouldn't give this out, but seeing as how you're a Georgia fan, like if you're a Clemson fan or heaven forbid Tennessee fan, or I mean, if you're Alabama, I wouldn't even, we probably wouldn't even be talking to you. But since you're a Georgia fan, I can share my feelings on how to get great stripes in a lawn. So while 1/2 inch sounds cool, it's what all the cool kids are doing. You get online, they're all saying, hey, I'm mowing my lawn at like, 0.3 inches, I'm at 1/2 inch, I'm mowing, like shorter is better. At least like most people want you to believe that. What I have found is that you'll get the best stripes that will look better, the color will be better, stripes will last longer if you mow the lawn just a little bit taller. By a little bit taller, I'm not talking about like an inch, inch and a half. I'm just saying take it up from like 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. I know it sounds like a lot, but just that little bit of additional grass, a little bit of additional leaf is going to make a pretty big difference as far as how the lawn stripes. And that is true across both different grass types. Like I've got Bermuda and I've got zoysia up front, Bermuda in the back. They're both mowed at 3/4 of an inch. And if you've been following my YouTube shorts that I put out pretty much one every day or on the other platforms, you'll see that the zoysia stripes actually look better than the Bermuda stripes. But literally at that 3/4 of an inch height of cut, the lawn just stripes really well. The other thing I'd say for you is if you are trying to burn your stripes in, so you're trying to get a pattern and really set that for the season, be very strict about ensuring that whenever you're mowing the lawn lengthwise and you're trying to get like lengthwise stripes all to look the same each time, that you're mowing the same pattern each time. And then whenever you alternate, you mow that pattern the same each time. So that's going to still allow you to not have like wear marks, and the lawn's still going to be cut evenly and look good, but it's going to give you the option to really burn those stripes in really well. Something else you got to consider too with my lawn is that I don't only mow the lawn in those patterns, but I verticut the lawn, I turf rake the lawn, and I do it in the same patterns. You see what I'm saying? So, and I've been doing that for a couple of years. Like if you look at my lawn over the past few years, you will notice that the stripe pattern that I have in the back lawn in particular has been that same pattern ever since I got the aloe, which is going on 3 years now, maybe a little bit longer. So that's what I would tell you. Mow it a little bit taller. Be really strict about, if you're setting the same stripes each time, to mow the same pattern if that's what you're really after. But the Revolution is it's a great mower. It's totally capable of striping well. Just it really comes down to your, how you're mowing it to get a good result. So hope that helps, sir. I really appreciate the you coming by to stop by and say hey, and hopefully that gives you some tips as far as how you can get your stripe action looking good. Case in point, here's a good example. This is a picture of Tom's lawn. Tom Hoffenkamp just sent a picture of his lawn being mowed at 0.3, what's he at? 0.35 inches. Craziness, man. Craziness. Now, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if you look at Tom's lawn, which again, nothing wrong with this. He's getting the Bermuda grass to come back. But if you look at that, the stripes aren't quite, they're there, but they're not really there. You know what I mean? They're not really like burnt tin, like super crispy, like just looking incredible. And as the Bermuda grows in and he starts mowing it maybe a little bit taller, the stripes will become a bit more pronounced. The color is going to be better. You know what I mean? So that's like Bermuda at 0.35 inches. I don't know if I have a video of my back lawn anywhere handy that I can show you. I probably do, but it's probably so far back. Actually, this is Xeon zoysia. This is not the back lawn, it's front lawn. So that's zoysia at 3/4 of an inch, at 0.75. And I would argue that the stripes are more pronounced. Granted, it's a brand new lawn, but still, overall, the stripes are better. And if we look at the Bermuda lawn, yes, this is Bermuda at 0.75 inches. This is Bermuda. Granted, this is not completely fair because he's still recovering it, but this is Bermuda at 1/3 of an inch. You can see 3/4 of an inch, 1/3 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch, 1/3 of an inch. And they're both being mowed with greens mowers. So that kind of is like, you say, an even, as far as leveling the playing field. But just the fact that you got a little bit more leaf, it's mowed taller, not much, but it's mowed just a little bit taller. It makes a big difference as far as color and stripes. So I'd say mow it taller if you want it to look better, in my opinion. Other advantage, while I look for the next question, is you're going to have less chance of having disease issues, because you figure you're not going to be if you're mowing the lawn at 1/2 inch, it sounds really cool to do that, but the requirements for keeping Bermuda truly at 1/2 inch or shorter, like as we're getting into the hotter times of the year, your mowing requirements are really going to go up. Like you're going to have to mow the lawn every day, every 36 hours or so, if you really want to maintain color in between cuts, which becomes, a lot like work instead of fun. So just another reason to just mow it a little bit taller, and you just stick to a every other day, every 2-day mowing schedule and be good to go. Okay, next up we have Michael Thomasson. He says, hey Ron, Mike from Oklahoma. Sent you a couple of pictures a few days ago. Moved some sprinkler valves out of the yard into the flower bed and sprayed. Yep, we just showed them, Mike, so everyone has seen your project going from 419 to Tahoma 31, I think is what you told me. So yeah, keep us posted. Keep taking the pictures. Should be a fun project. All right, next up is Heli O Castillo says, I've received my soil test results, and your recommendation was 14-7-14 fertilizer and the micronutrient liquid fertilizer for my yard. Can I apply them together? Yes. So if you're saying, can you apply them on the same day? Yes, no issue at all with that. Heli, what you would do is you would apply the 14-7-14. The rate that I like to use with that product is 4 pounds per thousand. That gets you around half a pound of nitrogen. And then for the liquid micronutrient, you would apply that at 6 ounces per thousand. So let's say we just snap. We go back in time. Today is now June 1st. You're about to go do all this, right? You would do the 14-7-14 first, 4 pounds per thousand. And then right afterwards, you can load up your backpack sprayer and then add the micronutrient at 6 ounces per thousand. So if you have a 4-gallon sprayer, which will cover 4,000 square feet if you're spraying the way that I recommend. So you'd use a total of 24 fluid ounces of the micronutrient in 4 gallons of water, spray that over 4,000 square feet. What you're gonna wanna do though is allow enough time for the micronutrient to dry because it works via foliar uptake. So it's absorbed through the leaf tissue of the plant. So you don't wanna water right away. So you do granular fertilizer, liquid fertilizer right afterwards. And then if you wanted to water the following day, that would be just fine. You're gonna produce a really good result. That is the order that I would do them in. I would not do the liquid spray and then right afterwards go out and apply the granular fertilizer because again, you're gonna be waiting several hours for the liquid to dry. And if you you apply granular fertilizer to wet leaf, the likelihood of you potentially causing some light burning in different parts of the lawn it goes up because it's gonna stick to it versus it just going past the leaf and getting into the soil like it's supposed to. So really, as a general rule, you don't want to apply granular fertilizer to a wet lawn unless you're going to run irrigation like immediately afterwards, which you're not. So the order would be granular fertilizer, liquid fertilizer, wait till the following day to run your irrigation, and you'll be all good to go. Hope that helps, Helio. Thank you so much for the question. Good job getting a soil test done, and keep us posted as far as how the lawn does. All right? Good times. All right. Next up is Ted Rogers. He says, hey, bro, hope you had the most blessed week ever. It was good, man. It was good. You should send me a picture. I did show the picture. It was good, man. I'm still recovering. This past weekend, got the privilege of testing for 4th Dan, for 4th degree. And I think it probably take a few weeks to find out if I passed or not. I think I did a pretty good job. So hopefully I got through it. But I am still hurting, man. Still sore. It's been a long weekend. Figure it's like every day waking up at 5 a.m., going to sleep at 10 p.m. and you're sleeping somewhere you're not normally used to, and you're just going the entire time. It's like go, and it's a lot. Plus, like my hands are sore from holding boards for people that were doing breaks, so it's just a lot. But glad it's done. It's awesome. Feels good. And yes, this week has been pretty good. Mainly just due to the sigh of relief of having that behind me. So now just wait to see the results, right? Fingers crossed. All right, next up is Top Gun Third is up next. He says, greetings from Htown. What are your thoughts on too much iron from moss removal products in addition to regular spoon feeding program? That's a good question, Top Gun Third. What I'd say is this, yeah, some of the moss removal products will use iron as a way to control the moss. What I would say is this, if we're doing it right, we really shouldn't have to be relying on these types of products like Moss X, right? If you are ensuring your soil pH is where it needs to be, so you're in the 6s, your soil is not overly acidic. If you are the area that you're getting the moss is getting enough sunlight. Most importantly, if it's draining properly, meaning we're doing things, we're taking steps to reduce or make conditions that are not good for moss to develop, then you really shouldn't have to rely on those products really. And then the iron that's going into the lawn as part of your spoon feeding program, you're really not going to be overdoing it. If you're not going to do those things, meaning you're just going to let the area that stays saturated stay that way, and you're just going to continue using iron products on top of that, it's not something I've ever personally had to deal with. I mean, I'd say that if the label for the product you're using, it should tell you how much iron's in it. If it's more than a couple percent of iron, then you're probably going to want to reduce or even omit entirely like other foliar sprays of iron because you're getting it from that product. But again, if we're doing things correctly, you really should not be relying on those products. It's like if someone asks me, what common question I do get asked sometimes is like, how often should I be spraying herbicides on my lawn? I said, well, if we're doing it right, not often. Like you should be using them to get the weeds under control, do all the things to get your lawn to be healthy and thick, and then your lawn is going to become the dominant plant in your area, right, on your property. So I would look at those products like moss treatment products, moss control products, as a I won't say it's a Band-Aid fix, but it's something you do once you've done all of the environmental changes that are going to make it much more difficult for moss to even become a problem in your lawn. Does that make sense? So hope that helps. And again, what I would just do is look at the label. The label should tell you how much iron is in the moss product you're using. And again, if it's more than a couple of percent, 2-3% iron, then you could just simply back down or reduce the amount of iron that you're putting in from other sources. All right, good question. All right, next up is Mr. Hayes. He says, hey, Ron and all, nothing here to report on my fescue lawn. Lots of rain and nothing to do to the lawn. Yeah, actually, it's raining right now. It's raining right now as we do the live stream. So I talked about, hey, might we get rain tomorrow? Nope, we're getting rain right now, which is nice. It's not bad now. At least the weather was dry early enough in the day, so I was able to get my mow done, and now the lawn is getting watered. So I'll tell you guys what, I think, and again, there's you can't say that correlation means causation. However, like I decided this season, I've been talking about it for a while, and I said, I'm going to go out and do a zoysia renovation this year. And Mother Nature says, you know what? We agree with this. We like where you're going, Ron. So every day we're practically going to give you rain, so you don't have to run irrigation, and everyone else is going to benefit from it. So next year, if I decide to do some more zoysia somewhere, you guys can just, you guys can plan it and do it at the same time as me, and you're not going to really have to worry about watering. That's what I think anyway. All right, next we have, let me see, we have We Showing Our Grass Lawn Care LLC. It's a great name. He says, good Friday / afternoon all. Ron, can you link the spoon feeding regime for your lawn? Just purchased a Rolex 17. I'm ready to put it to use. You got you some new equipment. Hang on, let me clap it up for you really quick, man. Gotta give you some dap. Congrats on the new hardware. So you got some new hardware. You want the spoon feeding regime. Currently using a battery powered reel mower. So you are ready. Yeah. Let me find the, I've got a video. Let me just give you the video. I could give you the blog post, but I think you're probably a video guy, right? We Showing Our Grass. So I did one earlier this year called, I've got actually two of them, like the Blueprint 2.0, and I've actually got one where I actually show myself actually mixing it. So this is spoon feeding options. So we'll call it that. There's a YouTube video for that. And then me actually mixing the products and doing it on my lawn. The only thing you're not going to see in this video is the plant growth regulator being added to the tank. But as far as what I am doing this year, this is what I'm doing. As far as the liquids, the rates, all that jazz, it's in this video. So just watch this, and if you have any questions, reach out and let me know. All right. And again, congrats on the new hardware, man. It's always nice getting a new mower. Only advice I can tell you is, well, I can give you a lot of advice, but one piece of advice I can tell you in relation to the mower is keep it sharp. Like the most important thing with a real mower, not the brand, not the height of cut, not which sticker you have on it, though that does help. I mean, if you have the right stickers on your mower, it probably does give you a few percentage boosts as far as the color of your lawn. But outside of those factors, the most important thing is to keep your mower sharp. Make sure it's well adjusted, check it regularly, make sure it's cutting paper all the way across. And if you do that, you really can't lose as far as getting a great result in your lawn. All right, next up is Cooper. He says, Ron, do you just use Advion on fire ants? Does it seem to work on all types of ants? Yes, so the only ant product that I use is Advion fire ant bait. I don't really have issues with other ants in my lawn per se, and mainly with the fire ants is normally around the perimeter from other folks' lawns that come in. So yeah, Advion, I do that, once, twice during the season, and I'm good to go. This year, it's been kind of a challenge because with this product, you really want there to be a couple of days of dry weather after you apply it, and we haven't really had that. So there's been some issues with it, but yeah, Advion is what I use. It's designed to do fire ants, and there's another one that's listed on there. Is it fire ants or pharaoh ants or something like that? I forget the other name, but there's fire ants and there's another one that's listed on the label that it's supposed to control. And then there's also Advion insecticide that controls all the other types of ants. So I don't really have ant problems in my lawn, so I'd imagine for the ones that I do have, which are fire ants, this does a good job. All right, Cooper. And again, the product I'm talking about is Advion fire ant bait. If you're looking for it, I can send you a link to it here to where you can just read the label, see what you think. But yeah, it's a great product. Again, I learned about it in like 2017, 2018, and I've not looked elsewhere since. It's been a great product. It works well, doesn't smell bad, doesn't damage the grass, doesn't do anything weird, and very effective against the ants, against the creepy crawlies that we don't want in our lawn. All right. So there you go. In case you were so interested. And I'm pretty sure other folks will have that question. So you know what, Cooper, we're going to turn that into a short so other people can benefit from it. All right. So thank you for that great question. All right. Next up, we have Heli Castillo. He has another question. He says, do you think I'll be able to apply the Miramichi Pest Control inside the perimeter of my garage to prevent bugs? If so, which T-jet nozzle will be best for that application? Thank you, sir. Yeah, so if you want to do it around the perimeter of the garage, I've done that. Heli O, is you're going to want to use the fine droplet. I use the which one is it? This guy here, the red spray nozzle, the foliar spray nozzle. Wrong camera. This one is the one that I use. You can use a fogger. You can also use this, because you're going to be spraying, I guess, on the perimeter of your garage, like along the wall near concrete, an area you're not going to literally be walking. I wouldn't have too much concern about that. Miramichi doesn't really recommend that you use the product indoors, not because it's not safe to use indoors, but because of, or from a toxicity standpoint, it's more so because some of the oils that are in it can become like a slipping hazard, right? So you got to be careful from that standpoint. So that's why they don't really recommend that you spray it indoors. Yeah, you're outside your house, inside the garage, like I've used it there, works absolutely great. Along on the side of the house, along gutters, downspouts, all of that is good to go. And again, I would use, if you're not using a fogger, I would use a fine droplet spray nozzle. All right. So good question, sir. Great product. Really, really great product. All right. Next up, we got Oliver Rittum in the live stream. He says, happy Friday, Ron. How is Podium compared to T-Nex? Seeing as how it's by Syngenta, I assume it works like Primo. Yeah. So they're both made by Syngenta. As far as my last bottle of Primo, of the small one, I am running out of. And then once I do that, I get a bottle of Podium, just keep refilling this because it makes it really easy to measure. And I'd imagine they're very similar. What you will find with Primo is the control of the other ingredients outside of the trinexapac ethyl from batch to batch is tighter, which is why Primo costs more. They both, Podium and Primo both work well. There's people that use Podium and get great results with it. It's just that if you had to say between the two, which from batch to batch is going to be more consistent, and one that if you had an issue with it, like say you're spraying professional turf grass, that Syngenta would be, you could talk to them. They're gonna. In other words, one that they guarantee results more for. It's gonna be Primo. Like when Devin has been on the live stream, which he's gonna be on next week, the golf superintendent for the club at Flying Horse, that's one of the reasons why he says they use Primo versus Podium, is that if you use that, you're spraying at the correct rates, that you get if there's any kind of problem, Syngenta will help you out with it. Whereas if you're using T-Nex, you're on your own because it's not even a Syngenta product. And if you're using Podium, I don't believe you get that same guarantee as well. But as far as for your home lawn, I'd imagine Primo and Podium are going to be very, very similar. All right, so good to go. I can't say how it compares to T-Nex. because I've never actually done that comparison. But yeah, Primo I absolutely like. And when I finish up the current bottle of Primo that I have, I'll be using Podium in my Primo bottle for measurement, and I imagine it's gonna be good too. So where the Podium makes more sense is if you have a larger lawn like mine, where you're gonna go through quite a bit of plant growth regulator over the course of the season, then Podium makes a lot more sense. If you have a smaller lawn, then Primo makes sense. Like this for Bermuda lawn will do 16,000 square feet. So if you've got, you figure a 4,000 square foot lawn, that's like 4 months of application, right? So one of these will be good, and every year you're getting a brand new fresh bottle. So that's pretty attractive for some people. Regardless of which one you decide to go with, Oliver, I still think it's worth having one of these bottles around because it just makes it super easy to measure out, to accurately measure the product. And given how little Primo, how little Trinexapac ethyl it takes to get a good result, you really do want to accurately measure it. So having one of these bottles is pretty useful. All right. Hope that helps, sir. Next up is Eliezer Aguilar. He says, hey, how can I eliminate Bermuda grass in zoysia grass? Great question, Eliezer. So there is a way to do that. There's a herbicide combination called using two products, Fusilade 2 and Recognition. So we have a kit. I'll show you really quick here. We have a kit that we offer on the Golf Course Lawn Store that has pretty much everything you need. If you go to the Golf Course Lawn Store, you go to Shop and then Weed Killer, you will see this. You will see a herbicide kit that has Recognition herbicide, Fusilade 2, spreader sticker, and surfactant. You need to use both of these together. So if you look at the label for Fusilade 2, right, there is going to be some guidance on the label for zoysia, right? But the problem is that if you spray just Fusilade 2 at the rates that you need to control Bermuda grass, you are going to cause some injury to the zoysia. It's unlikely to kill it, but it's gonna beat it up pretty badly. Now, if you mix it with Recognition, which is a relatively new herbicide that Syngenta released in the past couple of years, Recognition has an additive in it, a safener in it called metcamifin. And what that does is it allows you to spray Fusilade 2 at the rates that you need to be able to control Bermuda grass while not causing injury to your zoysia. And think about it, my zoysia lawn is 2.5 months old. About 10 days ago, I sprayed, because I had started seeing some Bermuda grass break through, I sprayed it with this combination with Recognition and Fusilade. I'm gonna see if I can find the video, because I did a short on this, and you'll be able, me talking about it is one thing, but nothing beats video. So I can show you exactly what it did, what the results were like. And the long short of it is that the Bermuda grass absolutely smoked. It's dying off. You can actually see the areas where the Bermuda grass was beginning to encroach into the zoysia, and the zoysia looks great. And this is relatively young, new zoysia grass, and still it was relatively unharmed by the Recognition and Fusilade combo. So let me do two things for you. First of all, here's the link to the product that I'm talking about, Eliezer. So Eliezer, make sure I spell your name right. How to get rid of Bermuda in zoysia and St. Aug and kikuyu grass, but most of you guys don't have kikuyu grass, don't really worry about it. That's the kit that you can use. And then as far as the video, if you guys want to see the results of it, because I sprayed it like 10, 12 days ago at this point on my zoysia, because I had some breaking through, and you can see for yourself. Because my lawn still looks great, no discoloration, and the Bermuda grass is hating life, which is exactly what we want. Let me see. So I'll say Recognition Fusilade 2 results. So that's what it would be, Eliezer. I just sent you the link to it. The big thing is you must, hear my words, you must use them together. You must use them together. You cannot use Fusilade by itself. It will not work. You will damage your lawn. So make sure you use them together. The mixing of it is super easy because if you look here, both products have measuring cups built into them, right? So if you look at Recognition, there's a measuring cup built in. So you see it's got a marking there, 0.45 on one end, 0.03 on the other end. You're going to use the 0.03 marking, that end, the small scoop. So 0.03 of Recognition, along with, that's a better picture of it right there, along with Fusilade 2. And for Fusilade 2, it's going to be 0.55 fluid ounces, so just over half an ounce. So kind of between the 0.5 mark and the 0.6 mark, kind of in between there, like right in there is where you want to be. So that much in a gallon of water, along with a 0.03 scoop of recognition in a gallon of water, a little bit of surfactant, and that covers 1,000 square feet. And it is incredible as far as the results that it produces for removing Bermuda grass out of your zoysia or St. Augustine lawn. For example, this is an example of a lawn when we were testing this. This is a person that was that's in the Golf Course Lawn Academy that sent us pictures of his lawn. This was from like a couple of years ago when we first got our hands on it because we wanted to test it first. So this is a lawn that's a combination of Bermuda and zoysia. And you'd be like, some of that's Bermuda, some of that's zoysia. Overall looks pretty good, but how much of it is really zoysia? So you can see there, it's a blend of the two of them. You sprayed the recognition and Fusilade. You can see the zoysia is still nice and green, and that much of the lawn was Bermuda grass. So you can see Bermuda was killed off. Same thing, zoysia looks pretty good. Bermuda is smoked, is killed off, which is exactly what we want. And what that's going to now allow it to happen is for the zoysia to fill in these areas and again become the dominant grass in your lawn. So great combination. I personally have used it myself and cannot say enough good things about it. I mean, it seems expensive as far as the price of the kit, but if you figure out what a pallet of zoysia costs you as far as resodding, and the fact that even if you do resod, it's just going to come back. Bermuda is really hard to get rid of. So this is a way to control, to really truly control Bermuda grass in zoysia and not, and leave your, and not have to resod or, be really careful with glyphosate, just kind of paying the Bermuda grass. Like this is a way to properly control, to selectively control Bermuda grass in zoysia. So hope that helps, Eliezer. Feel free to check that out. There's also a blog post that I can link for you as well that you can read through, but between that video and, just reading the description, you should be all good to go. All right. Thanks so much for the question. Really do appreciate it. All right. Eliezer. All right. So next up we have, let's see here. Next up we have the hardest part, guys, is figuring out where I left off. Okay. It's G7 Films. He says, hey Ron, I just finished my first top dressing for leveling out my ruts. Is it a good time to really push fertilizer now to help it grow in? When you say push fertilizer, I would continue to feed the lawn at like normal rates. I would not over fertilize it. So I guess you're asking, after I top dress my lawn, should I continue fertilizing it and should I mow it to help the area to help the lawn to fill in? The answer is yes. If the question is, I just finished top dressing my lawn, should I throw 2 pounds of nitrogen at it to try and get to fill in faster? The answer from me would be no. There's people that will tell you to do that, but I really wouldn't recommend it. What I'd say is continue feeding the lawn the same diet of nitrogen that you've had good success with. In my case, it's around 0.7 pounds of nitrogen. Somewhere between 0.7 and a pound is going to work well. And then as soon as you can, the thing that's really going to help it to fill in and encourage new growth is to start mowing it. So maybe raise your mower up just a little bit, and as soon as it begins growing through, start mowing it. That's going to help really encourage the lawn to fill in, and you're not going to have the potential disease and thatch problems that can come from overdoing it as far as nitrogen input. So that would be my recommendation, G7 Films. You did everything else right. You got everything else going good here. You did your top dressing. Just continue feeding the lawn a balanced, I'd say a balanced nutrients program, and then start mowing it as soon as you can. That's really going to help. All right. Next up is Mr. Antoine Clacken. He says, happy Friday, everyone. Looking forward to a great show. Well, it's going to be a show. I mean, whether it's great, that's up to debate, Antoine. But yeah, thank you so much for stopping by and taking some time out of your day. Really do appreciate it. And then next up, we have, okay, actually, I've already got you here. Michael Thomasson, he says, hey, Ron, Mike from Oklahoma, sprayed the last round of Fusilade and Eraser today. Okay, so today you did another app. Okay, good. Moved from sprinkler valves to the flower bed to Homa 31 2 weeks from today. Cool. All right, so you're gonna, because it looks like it's pretty much gone. So another round of Fusilade and glyphosate should do it. And I guess what's your plan, Michael? Are you gonna scrape out the existing Bermuda sod, take out maybe a couple of inches of soil along with it, and bring more soil in, and then new sod? That's probably what I would do if you can swing it. But yeah, if you do that, you should be in a pretty good spot. It sounds like you're doing it right, man. You're doing all the things right to give yourself the best chance of the Homa 31 being like the only type of Bermuda in your lawn for as long as that as possible, right? Okay, next up is Heli OC. He says, hey Ron, I've watched a couple of videos of yours on the golf course lawn micronutrient liquid fertilizer, but haven't found which T-jet nozzle will be best for that application. Well, it's this one. It's this one right here, right? This one, the red one with the shiny metal in the middle, which is less than useful, right? Because there's tons of red ones. However, I will send you a link to the foliar spray tip that I'm talking about. I'll stop messing around. This is the one you're going to want to use, Heli OC. Let's see. So at Heli OC, and it's like maybe there's two of you guys in here. There's Heli Castile, and maybe you're in here twice. Let's see, T-jet foliar spray tip. All right, so that's the one I would go with. And in case you're interested, we got Thunder, man. Hopefully power stays around. And if you're looking for the one for applying pre-emergent while you're at it, I mean, this is like a whole like $6 or $7. Get this one too. So now you've got the spray nozzle for foliar sprays and for soil products I need to get in the soil. So flood jet and the fine droplet spray. All right. Okay, next up is Wise Guy. He says, good afternoon, senor. May I know what your watering schedule and how much water do you apply? I understand it all depends on every lawn and location, but I'm curious about that, thanks. Well, my watering schedule is I'm not really watering. I mean, right now, like it's a biblical amount of rain that's coming down on the lawn right now. I'm looking at it. It's so I haven't really needed to water. When I do have irrigation turned on, it's Monday and Friday is the times that I run. I run it 2 days a week. The back lawn, each zone of the back lawn is like 25 minutes. And then the front lawn it gets like an 8 to 10 minute cycle. And then it takes a couple of those because the way the front lawn is sloped, if I water any more than like 10 minutes, you just get a bunch of runoff. You just waste a bunch of water. So the first zone that gets watered is the front lawn. That cycle runs, the back lawn runs, the soil area runs, and then it comes back to the front lawn for another cycle, and then that's it for that for that day of watering. So it gives the front lawn enough time for the water to soak in, and then I can put more water on it and not be wasting it. But again, to your point, it varies because like water pressure makes a difference. Your lawn, like your lawn type, like as far as the grade of your lawn makes a difference. Your soil type makes a difference. You know what I mean? So although there are a ton of factors, which is why I generally don't like to give out like watering times for irrigation because it's just not going to translate really to your lawn. What I would say is the best way to know how much water you should be putting on your lawn is over the course of a week. Most lawns, Bermuda grass lawns, zoysia lawns need about an inch of water per week when they're actively growing. Now you get into the hotter times of the year, into the summer, you maybe can increase that a little bit, but that's total water. So if you have a day like today where it's raining like crazy, there's no need, for example, for me to go run my irrigation on Monday, which would be the next time for me to run it, right? No need to do that because got plenty of rain today. It's happening right now. There's gonna be more tomorrow, more Sunday, so no need to really run it. The way to find out how long you should be running each zone, an easy way to do that is assuming that the area is flat, right? You know, because I say thing one I would say when it comes to figuring out how long to run irrigation for is first look at how much water the area will actually hold. So if you got a slope, you want to water it to where the ground gets saturated, but not to the point where you're having a bunch of runoff. So the grade of your lawn should be the primary factor as far as how long you run any particular zone. Assuming you're dealing with a completely flat lawn, meaning you could run it for 10 minutes or you could run it for 30 minutes, the way to figure out how much you should be running each cycle is you can just go out and get like a set of tuna cans or like a shallow dish. You can need a couple of these and then put that out in a given zone and run it. And then if you look at the tuna can when it's full or gets like halfway full of water, that's about, say you're running it 2 cycles per week. One of those is about an inch. So you get about halfway full, that's about half an inch of water. So you can do that for every zone. That's how you can calibrate your irrigation system to know how long each particular zone should run. And again, this is assuming that the lawn will hold all that, right? Like my back lawn, I could run it for, again, 10 minutes. I could run it for 40 minutes. And for the most part, all that water is going to stay on the lawn. So to figure out how much I need is using the tuna can or a shallow dish method. With the front lawn, it's more just the grade of the lawn that's dictating how much water I can put on it. So hopefully that helps, Wise Guy. I gave you some guidance, some things to think about, but I mean, the best way is just to go out there and calibrate it and set up a schedule yourself per zone. The good news is you only have to really do it once, and then once you're set, you're good to go. But given all the water we've been having in the Southeast United States, I really wouldn't be running irrigation that much. You really shouldn't have to. All right. Okay, next up we have John Williams. He says, so I ran across a video talking about this product. He says, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but they say it's good for dog pee spots. Can you elaborate on that? And do you have a product that's comparable? I do not. I don't have any products that I've ever used for fixing dog urine damage. Because here's the thing, John, I think you have to keep in mind is that I can see how those products could work if you have like just one spot and it's like a freak accident and it's not really going to happen again. If you have a situation where in your lawn, your dog is constantly going, so like, every day, a couple times a day, the dog is out in the lawn and they're urinating and it's causing damage. Like there's not really going to be products that are going to be able to really offset that because the damage is happening at a faster rate than the grass can recover from it. So for like an individual pea spot here and there, that's probably going to be okay. But if you have an area that's like constantly getting hammered, a couple times per day, it's just going to be a challenge to really keep that part of the grass alive, unless you're going out there and you're watering right after the dog does its business to kind of help dilute the urine. So hopefully that helps. And John, you did send us some pictures. I mean, it's not I see your name here. We can show the folks what you're working on. I know you were also doing a renovation project. I think you said you ended up going with Bermuda grass. So if we look here, you can see all the sod that John has. That's quite a bit. Big project. Looks like a lot of pain. And then to help prepare the area, my man's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 bags of that good, the big yellow bags from the nice folks at Supersod. So you are not messing around as far as the top dressing, putting in some nice, rich organic material as part of your sod installation project. And here you are watering it, and then a close-up showing it installed. So overall, looks pretty good, man. Given that you went with Bermuda grass, it's likely not going to take very long for that to root in and begin growing. And looks like you're putting water on it, so that's also good. And the only other advice I tell you is as soon as you can mow it, as soon as you're starting to see new growth, get out there, put a mower on it. It's really going to help the lawn, just establish that much faster. So mowing is the secret sauce for helping get your lawn in great shape. And some of you guys say, hey, if you're in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, some parts of Tennessee, some parts of Alabama, and you want to get some of that good stuff that John is using on his lawn, there's a way for you to save a little bit and also support the Golf Course Lawn Store at the same time. There's a discount code they gave me that I can pass on to you guys. If you use that code, it will save you additional on top of whatever incentives they currently have running. So it doesn't cost you anything, and it saves you some money, and it's a great way to also support the channel if you want to. Looks good, John. I tell you, keep taking pictures. Keep taking pictures. Keep us posted as far as how it develops, because we saw what you started out with. We see the entire project. We see you watering, we see the sod. So we want to have an update, not necessarily every week, but maybe every 2 weeks, send us an update so we can see and track how your lawn establishes. All right, next up is Ted Rogers. He says, I would have Bermuda if I could. He says, I learned it from you. As far as taking care of the lawn? Yeah, I mean, I give you some tips as far as a good program that I think works well, but you still got to execute what you did. You still got to do it, which is important, right? And I have to admit, Bermuda is nice. I do love my Bermuda lawn because you can beat on it. It's a relatively easy grass to take care of. It doesn't, outside a dollar spot, maybe some large patch, it doesn't really get a bunch of disease in it. But fescue is really pretty, Ted. I gotta tell you, man. There's nothing wrong with that. That color looks great. Stripe action's on point. So you never know. I think, Ted, for you, if you had a choice, you might be a zoysia man. I think you might be more of a zoysia type guy because the color of zoysia, the way it stripes, probably a little bit closer to your fescue than Bermuda grass. You'd probably like zoysia more than Bermuda. All right, next up is Frank V. He says, hey, Ron, I put out Celsius and Drive Accelerate today. It rained 8 hours later. Will my application work okay? I use MSO for surfactant, methylated seed oil. Yeah, you should be fine. Should be fine. So you apply the post-emergent herbicides. There's 8 hours between time of application and rainfall. That's plenty. It really, once it dries, you're pretty much going to be rained fast. So, figured if it rained 3 hours after application, you're probably okay. In your case, you had 8 hours of dry weather, so you're going to be just fine. So if the question is, should I go out and reapply Celsius or drive? The answer is no. Do not go do that. You're probably just fine given that you have already used surfactant and there was adequate time after application to allow it to become rain fast. So good job, man. Keep us posted. I guess you had some crabgrass in the lawn and you wanted something a little bit more potent than Celsius. I get it. I get it. Drive is a good good quinchloride product. We started carrying it in the store, so you guys want to see. If you go here, I can show you it's on the store now. We still have the 75 DF, but if you want a liquid option for controlling crabgrass, you've got Drive Accelerate now available. And as always, there's a kit for it as well if you want. But yeah, there's an option. That's what he's talking about as far as crabgrass control. All right. Okay, our next comment is from Mr. Ant Live. He says, hey, Ron, to get that checkerboard look in my Bermuda grass, do I mow one way and another way during the same mow or another way the next time I mow? Depends on how much time you have. I change it every time I mow. So like if I mowed today, the next time I mow, weather permitting, should be Sunday. So today I mowed away from the house, two and away from the house, and then the next time I will mow lengthwise. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if I got a picture here, got video, maybe this will work. Maybe I'll be able to find it. Maybe not. Yeah. Okay. So today I mowed the lawn this direction, like that. So away to and from the house. And then the next time I mow, again, weather permitting on Sunday, this is what Plant with Regulator is awesome. It will be in this direction. So I alternate it each time. You know, if I got company coming over and I really want it to look really nice, I'll go out and do a double cut. But remember, I got like almost 12,000 square feet, man. So if I got to go out and double cut it, you're talking about literally adding another 45 minutes or so to being out there. So normally I mow one direction and just alternate each time I mow it. That produces a pretty good result for me. All right. So let's see here. What is the name of the product? I have Bermuda growing in my zoysia lawn that I need to get rid of. Yeah, so it's I'm seeing a comment here from Instagram. I'm not sure if you were on, but it is this. It is this. It's not inexpensive, but it is awesome. And I personally used it and it works really well. It was far cheaper than resodding. Like a pallet of Xeon is like $700. I mean, again, they are proud of it. So it's a way, I mean, getting recognition in Fusilade is far cheaper than resodding your lawn, and it's actually the correct fix for it, because even if you go out and resod, Bermuda is still going to come back, whereas this way is a way to actually control it in your lawn. All right, next up is Ted Rogers. He says, everyone hit that like button. Thank you so much, Ted. We have, 104 people in the live stream, only 70 likes. If you guys would not mind hitting the like button ever so gently, I would really appreciate it. I'm even going to put some intermission music on while I drink some water, so you guys can do that while I look for the next comment. It would really mean a lot. It costs you absolutely nothing. It's free. All right, who else do we have here? All right, we have a question from Tony. He says, thanks for everything, Ron. Can you help me identify what is infesting my Bermuda? Something coming into Bermuda. Say less. He says, looking forward to amazing products and using my game. I need to have pictures of it to be able to see what you're dealing with. Bermuda, outside of Dallas grass and there's a couple other things that are hard to get rid of. But I mean, with pictures, I should be able to help you out. There's not a whole lot that Celsius Certainty does not take care of. If you got like a really bad crabgrass infestation, you may want to step up to something like Drive Accelerate or something like that. But yeah, without pictures, it's tough to be able to tell you exactly what is invading your Bermuda lawn. It's kind of weird because you don't normally hear that. Normally it's the other way around. Normally it's Bermuda that's invading something else. Normally it's not the one being invaded, So if you want, Tony, send me a picture of it. Send it to my email, ron@golfcourselawn.com. That's my email address. Since I asked you to email me, you can email me. I'll take a look at it and get you an answer after the show, and we'll get you all squared away. Or whenever you get around to sending me the picture, I'll make a note that, yeah, you're supposed to be emailing me, and I'll look out for it. All right? But yeah, there's likely a way to fix the problem. And then Ted Rogers says, I mow in different directions every 2 to 3 days, 4 directions in total. So he does this way, this way, this way, and that way. I used to do that. I used to go the 4 different, like, so if this, my soil test kit were like my lawn, I used to do this, 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 and then this, kind of like mowing a Union Jack, right? Like all the different directions. But I don't do that anymore because I really like the checkerboard. And it's too much headache to try and set the stripes, double wide stripes in like diagonally this way and then diagonally the other way. I guess I could do it, but man, it's like a lot of work, right? And plus the checkerboard looks pretty good, right? I think the checkerboard looks good. That's why I stick with it. Okay, next up is D&D Lawn Care LLC. He says, Ron, happy Father's Day. Yard got hit with grubs, turn a third of my 500 square foot lawn to crap. What are my options? Ugh, dude, man, it sucks. Sorry to hear that. You can use an insecticide now to control them, and it's just going to be a waiting game. You know what I mean? Like once like grubs or some other insect has done what they've done, it's get rid of them and then allow the lawn time to heal. So if you've got Bermuda, it'll come back. If it's a cool season lawn, you may, depending on the extent of the damage, you may have to, resod or reseed the damaged area. So what I would use for insect control in all lawns, not just warm season or not just Bermuda grass lawns, is a product called Acelepryn. So you can go with either the liquid or the granular. They both work well. If you're trying to have tighter control over the application rates, go with Acelepryn SC. As far as coverage, they're both about the same. Again, both products work equally well. It's just really your preference whether you prefer a granular product, which some people find easier because all you need is a spreader. You set the spreader properly, you put it out, and you go on, you water it in, you go on with your day. Whereas the liquid, you do need either like a handheld sprayer or a backpack sprayer to put it out. But the liquid does allow you to have tighter control over the application. So, for example, if you had for the liquid, the rate that I tell folks is to like a good catch-all rate is like 0.18 ounces or like 0.2 ounces per thousand. That's going to control like your grubs, billbug, grubs, any kind of turf caterpillar, bluegrass, the weevils. If all you have are army worms, heaven help you, but let's say it's all you have, believe it or not, you can use a rate that's a lot lower than that. And with the liquid, it's much easier to get to kind of lower the rate down and accurately spray the product at that lower rate. The granular is a little bit more of a challenge to be able to do that. So for that reason, I like the liquid. If you're someone that enjoys or is okay with spraying liquids on your lawn, Acelepryn SC, the suspension concentrate, this one, do I have it? Yeah. This one here is what I would go with. All right. Coverage wise is about the same between the granular and the liquid. And then once you do that, it's just a waiting game, man. Again, sorry you're dealing with it. What I would tell you, if you want some tips as far as my opinion of how to prevent this going forward, Lawn Care LLC, is if you can do your grub control, your insecticide application in late March, early April, like that's the ideal time preventatively to get your grub control out, your insecticide out to where this is not going to become a problem. You really don't want to wait until you're starting to see visual damage to go out and then try and take care of the problem. So what we recommend, and this is reflected in our lawn care calendar, is an application of Acelepryn SC in late March, early April, and then another one in the late July, August timeframe. If you hit those 2 times a year, you're pretty good of getting the grubs, the larvae in the cycle where you can pretty much keep them under control. They're not going to cause a bunch of damage in your lawn. So that's not going to really help you now, but for next year, I would plan for that. Get your application out April and another one in late July, August timeframe, and it should put you in a much better spot for not having grub damage. So treat insect damage, treat lawn disease, in my opinion, very much the same way you would treat like weed control, right? Like you can wait till like weeds are all throughout your lawn and become a problem. Or you can use pre-emergent, which is, trying to interrupt the problem earlier in the cycle. Post-emergent herbicides like Celsius, Certainty, Tenacity, whatever you insert your favorite post-emergent herbicide of choice are later in the growth cycle of the plant. So if we can use a pre-emergent herbicide that's effective of preventing it from even becoming a problem or drastically reducing how much of it we have in our lawn, that is a better and in most cases a less expensive way to go versus waiting until it's a problem and then have to treat it after the fact. Same thing for lawn disease, same thing for insect damage. The real problem with insect and lawn disease damage is that once you see it, you're going to be staring at an eyesore for several weeks to, it could be over a month, depending on the extent of the damage. So hope that helps, sir. Next up is John Williams. He says, so I sent you some pictures of my renovation. I'm curious on the soonest that I could put out some grub control. What time of year to kill grubs and any lawn pests and fungus? Great question, John. It's a really good one. So as I just answered the question as far as insect control, really, I like to do that in April and then again in August. When it comes to your fungicide application, you can do that as part of your sodding project. Like I actually did that with the front lawn because of the amount of watering that we're doing as far as getting the sod to establish. Like putting out fungicide is relatively inexpensive. It's relatively cheap insurance to help reduce the likelihood of you having disease problems in your lawn. So, on the same day you put the sod out, you could have also put out your fungicide if you wanted to. If you've not put out insecticide as yet this season, you can also do that as well too. Fungicide, insecticide really aren't going to really negatively or positively affect your sod rooting in. Again, as long as you apply them at the correct rates per the label, you're not really gonna have any problems with them. They're not like herbicides. Like if you were to go out and put out brand new sod, I would not tell you like the next day go spray post-mortem herbicide on it, right? That's going to be a stressor to a brand new lawn that's trying to establish. Fungicide and insecticide, not so much. And fungicide, in my opinion, is something that's good to do as part of a new seeding project or part of a new sod project, because the amount of water, again, that we're just putting on the lawn every day, several times a day, you are creating conditions where disease can become more likely to become an issue, and fungicide is a way to prevent that. So hope that helps, John. Have a lot of fun with the project. Go ahead and get your fungicide out, assuming you haven't done so already. As far as options for fungicide, I like dual action products, so I can show you really quickly. You didn't ask this, but why not? Well, I'm already here. If you like liquids, go with Pillar SC. If you like granular, go with Headway G. Either one of them will work well. They both have two fungicides in them. Both fungicides are of the same family. They're like I think it's group 3 and 11. So either one of these will work well. So the Pillar SC, it's like it's pyraclostrobin and tritaconazole. I think that's correct. And then for Headway G, it's azoxystrobin and propiconazole. So they both have fungicides that are in the same families. Just pick whether you prefer liquid or granular, apply it per the label, and you're off to the races. You can water, you can give your lawn what it needs with less likelihood, not a guarantee, but less likelihood of you having disease issues in your lawn. All right. Okay, next up is Casper H. He says, hey, Ron, how much spreader sticker surfactant should I add to 2 gallons of weed killer to make it effective? I like to use about 1/3 of an ounce per gallon. So per 1/3 of an ounce per 1,000 square feet. So if you're doing 2 gallons, just over half an ounce, like around 0.6 ounces. So call it a little more than half an ounce of surfactant in 2 gallons of water. And you should be good to go. Read the label for the herbicide you're spraying, because sometimes there'll be some guidance in there where they'll make specific recommendations. So just read that as well. Like there are also some herbicides where you really shouldn't use surfactant with them. Like it's a small list, but there's some where they specifically say do not use surfactant along with it. Like what's a good example? Like Velocity. Like this is a good example of one. Like the herbicide for controlling Poa annua and Poa triv in cool season grass, it specifically says do not use surfactant with this. So read the label. If there's no guidance saying to not do that, or there's no guidance as far as application rates, then 1/3 of an ounce of spreader sticker is what I like to use. So 0.3 ounces per 1,000, or 0.3 ounces in a gallon of water sprayed over 1,000 square feet. All right. Okay, Casper. So hope that works for you, sir. Next up is Mr. Archie Amos. What's going on, Archie? Hopefully you're doing well, sir. He says, good evening, young man. Looking forward to a great show. Well, I'll do my best, man. I'll do my best. Hopefully it'll be entertaining, if nothing else, right? All right, next up is Warrior One. He says, hey, Ron, how can I make a transition from St. Augustine to Bermuda? Should I kill off the St. Augustine and then sod it? Or should I seed with Monaco Bermuda? Any advice? I would get rid of the St. Augustine, so I would kill off the St. Augustine, and then personally, I would sod it. You can do Monaco if you want to, but there's so many gorgeous Bermuda, hybrid Bermuda, like cultivars out there. Like you could go with like Tiff Tough, or you could go with like Tahoma 31 or Celebration if you're really a baller. You could go with, there's so many options that really come only in sod that if budget allows, I would go with Tahoma 31, Celebration, or Tiff Tough if you want one of those three. And yes, I would kill off the St. Augustine prior to sodding the Bermuda grass. And the nice thing with you, Warrior One, is that there is, even if you have some breakthrough, which you invariably likely will have some, it's relatively easy to control St. Augustine in Bermuda. So, if you go out there, you kill off the St. Augustine, you go out and hit it with a round of glyphosate, and then you scrape it all out, you sod with your Bermuda grass. If you have some St. Augustine breakthrough, you can easily use quinclorac to control the St. Augustine in your Bermuda lawn, because Bermuda tolerates quinclorac really well. St. Augustine, not so much. So there's already options for you to selectively control any little breakthrough you might happen to have in your about to be Bermuda lawn. All right. So hope that helps, sir. Your call as far as, whether to go with the C, but if it were me, I would do Celebration or Tahoma 31 or maybe some Tiff Tough. Because I got to tell you, man, at first I wasn't a huge fan of Tiff Tough at when I first started out, but the Real Rollers has got some. They got like a plot of turf Tiff Tough, and it looks good, man. I mean, it greens up nicely. The color's really nice. It's good looking grass. Good looking grass, and it's also easy to come by too. Like Tahoma 31 and Celebration can be a bit of a challenge to find, but Tiff Tough pretty easier one, more commonly available Bermuda grass cultivar. So that's another thing going for it. Okay, next up is Rich Pershing. He says, hey, Ron, what is safe to kill Bermuda out of junipers? I'm not sure of what counts as ornamentals. Thanks for your advice. I don't know, Rich. What I'm inclined to tell you to look at is to look at the label for Fusillade 2. I would incline to tell you look at the label for this. Like, while we use Fusillade 2, largely for, at least on this show, is for talking about getting rid of Bermuda grass or managing Bermuda in a St. Augustine or zoysia lawn when used with recognition. A big part of what Fusillade 2 is known or used for is for controlling weeds and oversprays of ornamentals. Like, there's a big section of the label that talks about all these ornamentals that you can spray this on and that tolerate it pretty well. I don't know if junipers are one of them. I can ask my... I'll take a screenshot of this. I can ask my contact at Syngenta what they think. They're probably going to tell me, hey, Ron, go read the label. That's probably what they're going to tell me. But I'll ask them anyway. But what you can do is check the label out for Fusillade 2. That is what I'm inclined to tell you to look at, because that will control, like Fusillade 2 will control Bermuda grass, and it is large. It's used a lot, pretty often in ornamental oversprays. So... yeah. All right. But I'll also do some digging on my end, and maybe I can chat about that next week as far as an answer to this question. Hope that helps, sir. If you need anything else, definitely let me know. Sorry that you're dealing with Bermuda grass in your junipers. Speaking of junipers, I need to cut mine back, man. Those little brats, they're long. There's if you look at my lawn on the left side, there's some that are encroaching into my lawn and starting to kind of trying to get too comfortable, is what I like to say. So got to cut them back and reestablish a nice domination line for the Bermuda, because they will win. They will win in that contest because of all the shade they cast. It's enough that to where the Bermuda will not really be able to outcompete those. So, all right, Rich, again, hopefully that helps you, sir. All right, next up is Claude Thompson. Claude Thompson, he says, hey, Ron, Claude here from Connecticut with a cool season lawn. Besides a longer mowing time, is there any harm in double cutting my lawn? No, not really. So what I can tell you is this, Claude, the only potential negative, it's not really a big one, is that if you're doing that every single time, and you're mowing the same pattern every time, you can start causing like wear marks or ruts in the lawn. The reason why, if you mowed in this direction one time and then in this direction the next time, is you're kind of giving the lawn you're giving the grass in the last time you mowed a chance to kind of like catch itself, to kind of recover a bit, right? Whereas if every single time you're double cutting and you're mowing the same pattern each time, then you are going to start getting wear marks. So that's probably the only negative I'd say. But say you got some company coming over the weekend and you want the lawn to look as sharp as possible, and you want to double cut it, No problem at all with doing that. No, there's not really any issues. Just where would be the big thing that I would be concerned about. He says you're double cutting. He said twice a week, even though I'm only taking off less than 1/3 of an inch each cut. It looks so much cleaner with a double cut. P.S. I emailed you a few photos so you could see what I'm working with. Thanks, Claude. And you know what? I do have the pictures you sent me, so I'm going to show the folks on the live stream. And overall, man, I got to tell you, that's looking good, man. Stripe action looks good, is on point. Let's go ahead and look at some other pictures here. He sent us a total of 5, I think, here. So that's picture 1. Another angle. Let me go get your comment offer so folks can appreciate all your mowing action. Yeah, it looks like I can see you're kind of doing diamonds, Claude. Looks pretty cool. Very nice. Very nice. And here in Claude, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Okay, so if you look at this, look at this picture, look at the stripe, the dark stripe, which is, I guess you're mowing towards us, right? That's along the sidewalk. If you see between the dark stripe and that next light stripe, you see that little line there? Like I imagine that's where your lawnmower wheels are running. And if you look over again, you can see the same thing. You can see like a light stripe where the lawnmower wheels are. Like if you were doing the same pattern each time, if you're double cutting it each time, like those little wear mark lines, those little light lines will become more and more pronounced. So that would be the only reason why I'd say changing up the pattern would have benefits. But this looks really good, man. Color looks great. Edging looks great. Nice. Really nice work. I like it. I approve. Looks good. So, but yeah, if you have the time to do it, and if you want to vary, maybe you're not burning the stripes and you're maybe varying the stripes, the direction of the stripes each time you do it, there's not really any negative to that. So hope that helps, sir. Great work. The lawn looks really nice. And there you go, guys. You see, so this is not just for warm season lawns. Also, folks with cool season lawns can also get a great looking job, right? Great looking cut. Both you got Ted and you got Claude, both who don't have warm season grass in their lawns look really good. I put my stamp of approval on it. Looks awesome. All right. Next up is Colin. He says this year is interesting so far. Back lawn is thriving and growing like crazy, and the front yard lawns are taking their sweet time growing and repatching bare spots. Got me like, what? Yeah, I mean, grass is funny like that. It has a mind of its own, right? It definitely has a mind of its own. Just keep mowing it, feeding it, make sure it gets enough sunlight, and just let it do its thing. Let it do its thing. That's what I would tell you, Colin. All right. Next up is Lois Jean. She says, I have more weeds than grass. Is it too late to put something down to kill the weeds? And what next that I need to do? I have cool season grass. Thank you. So great question, Lois. To answer your question, no, it's not too late to get your lawn under control. The general rule when it comes to spraying herbicides is if the plant that you're trying to control is actively growing. So if the weed that you're trying to control is actively growing in the lawn, you can use herbicides to control it. Now, there are some times of the year with you having a cool season lawn that are probably a bit better for doing that than not. So, this time of year when it's starting to get hot, can you use herbicides on a cool season lawn? Yes, but they are, it's going to cause more stress to the lawn versus if you were to do it in the springtime and then in, like, say, August, September timeframe when cool season lawns really begin to thrive again. So if you want to do it now, no issue with doing that. Make sure that you really stick to the label rates for whatever it is that you're looking to, whatever herbicide product you're using. And then, yeah, I mean, you still got plenty of season to help the lawn recover and do well. So for cool season lawns, I can show you a couple of options here. If you tell what kind of grass you have, but if we have a kit that does a pretty good job. It has 2 products in it, Tenacity, which will do grassy weeds, a lot of broadleaf weeds, not really any temperature restrictions on it. So you can spray it, when it's cooler, you can spray it when it's hotter. Then you also have Sedge Hammer, which is for your sedges. So like nutsedge, kalinga, that's what this will control. So this kit will do a really good job as far as being a good catch-all for controlling weeds in a cool season lawn. Some other options that kind of get into more specialty herbicides is if you have Poa annua or Poa trivialis. Granted, we're getting to the point of the year when they're probably going to start dying off because it's getting hotter. Then you can go with something like Velocity. This is more of a specialty herbicide. You'll know if you need this. I mean, it's not inexpensive, but it's as far as a product that works really well for what it's designed to do. There's really nothing else that's one that's labeled for use on residential, on cool season lawns. That's very effective against Poa annua and Poa triv, which Velocity is. If you are dealing with primarily a crabgrass problem, crabgrass infestation, you've got Drive Accelerate, like quinclorac product. This is really good. So any of these, so Velocity, if you've got Poa annua or Poa triv, for crabgrass control, Drive, and then just as a good catch-all, then outside of other than Poa annua, then this kit with Tenacity and Sedgehammer will work really well. So it really depends on what weeds you're dealing with in your lawn to know which is going to be the best fit. So as far as what comes next, I'm going to show you or share with you rather, how you get a great looking lawn, per Ron Henry, right? Like how I would go about doing it. So there's 5 steps to it. Really only 4 of them are active. So the first step, which is the one you're asking about, is to eliminate weeds for your lawn. And then the way we do that is by figuring out what kind of grass you have, which cool season lawn, you probably have fescue, ryegrass, or Kentucky bluegrass. So one of those 3, or maybe a blend of those 3 is what you have, right? And then based on that, we will get a herbicide that is safe for your grass and also effective against the weeds that we're trying to control. I just showed you some of those so you can go through and take a look at them. And then the next thing is, once we have the weeds under control, is putting together a good nutrient program. And a big important part of doing that is knowing what the deficiencies are in your soil. So like what nutrients are lacking in your lawn, so we can make sure that the fertilizer that we apply are a good fit for your particular lawn, because no 2 lawns are the same. You can just throw some products down and hope for the best, but it's a better way, a better approach, in my opinion, is to do a soil test and then fertilize your lawn based on those soil test results. So that's what this second tip is about. Do a soil test. And then step 3 is to fertilize your lawn based on the soil test results. So this gives us the data. It's going to even give you recommendations, and then we'll fertilize the lawn based on what this tells us to do, right? And then the 4th step is the thing that most people do not do consistently enough, yet has, once you have the weeds under control and you're fertilizing the lawn regularly, has the biggest impact on the appearance of your lawn, and that's mowing. So if you can commit to mowing your lawn, I mean, some people say once a week is enough, but really twice per week. I know it sounds like a lot. It's going to be really difficult for you to not have a great stand of turf grass. So to recap, we're going to get rid of the weeds. We're going to do a soil test. Based on that soil test results, we're going to feed our lawn, and then we're going to commit to regular mowing twice per week. And then if you do these things, it's practically impossible to not get a great looking lawn. As far as the spacing between these, you can literally begin doing them pretty much at the same time. So you can, when it comes to controlling the weeds, the big thing you're going to want to do is no mowing a couple of days before you spray the herbicide on your lawn. You spray it, and then no mowing for 2-3 days afterwards. Outside of that, you can do a soil test, you can begin fertilizing, you can begin mowing. Like, all of this can happen while you're also getting the weeds under control. So it's not like you have to, step 1, kill the weeds. All weeds got to be gone before I can fertilize. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do that. You can identify the weeds that are in your lawn, identify a good herbicide that's a good fit for your lawn, apply that, give it a couple of days to begin working, and then begin mowing your lawn regularly. And what you're going to find is, because we have injured the weeds using a herbicide that's appropriate for controlling them, it's going to be a lot harder for them to grow back. You know what I mean? Like unlike our grasses, like most weeds do not tolerate being mowed at the heights that we mow our turf grass. Some of them do, but most don't really like that. And especially if you have just injured them with herbicides, you're giving like a 1-2 punch. Once you're hitting them with a chemical to knock them back, and then you're doing regular mowing, making it much more difficult for them to reestablish. And the next thing is to get our grass to be super thick, super healthy, because a really thick and healthy lawn makes it more difficult for weeds to reestablish in a lawn. So mowing is what ties it all together. And hopefully that helps you out. As far as where you can get a soil test kit and fertilizers, we carry all that in the Golf Course Lawn Store. So you can, I already showed you the herbicides, but if you want a soil test kit, go to shop. And where are they? Right here under soil test kit. Get this one that has the tool that you need to be able to pull the cores, do that. And then feed your lawn based on the soil test results, and then fertilize, and you're off the races. It's just a time thing, time and consistency at that point. And it's pretty difficult to not get a great looking lawn. And the one thing I tell you, Lois, I talk about mowing, but I show a lot of lawns on here. And the one thing that you see that's really consistent is all the lawns that look great, right? Like if you look at Colin's lawn, right? Color looks great. you can tell he regularly mows it. You look at Ted's lawn, looks great. It's very obvious that lawn is regularly mowed. You know, if we look at Claude's lawn, obviously regularly mowed. The thing that's consistent that you cannot not do, the thing that you have to commit to doing is regular mowing. Like if you wanted to say, like, what's the one thing that separates like a golf course or professional sports fields from most residential lawns, is they get mowed a lot more frequently. Like you look at a golf course fairways every like 2-3 times a week, the greens every day, whereas most lawns, like probably the lawns in your neighborhood, your neighbors, they mow it every 2 weeks, right? Pretty much when the grass starts getting high, they're about to get threatened with a letter from the House Association. That's when they mow it. You can't really keep that type of schedule if you really want to have an exceptional stand of turf grass. You know what I mean? You gotta mow it at least twice a week, and that if you do that along with the other things, it's pretty hard to not have a really good looking lawn. So hopefully that helps. I'll send you a link to at least the herbicides so you can look over those. And again, if you have any questions when you start reading through anything, drop us an email. We have like a contact form or whatever in the Golf Course Lawn Store. And either myself or someone else will get back to you and get you all squared away. All right. Hopefully that was useful. All right, next up, Nick Wren is up next. He says, just got my first manual reel mower. Before we go any further, gotta clap it up for that. Congrats on the new hardware. Looking for some advice on how to pick a new grass height. I already mow daily to every other day and want that fairway look. It goes down to 3/4 of an inch. I guess 1/2 an inch. Okay, so yeah, so Nick, so what I would say is I'm not sure where you're starting. Personally, I like 3/4 of an inch. I think 3/4 of an inch is a good height of cut for most lawns that will tolerate, grasses that will tolerate lower cutting heights. So like your ryegrass, your Kentucky bluegrass, your zoysia, your Bermuda grass. I personally think 3/4 of an inch is a great height. So if you can run your mower at that height, then that's where I would put you. You know what I mean? I'd say start there. As long as the lawn looks pretty good, you're not seeing any scalping, then and you're mowing frequently enough to be able to keep up with it, then yeah, 3/4 of an inch is where I would put you. If your mower goes down to 1/2 an inch, I mean, with a manual push mower, man, even with a power drill mower, that's a big time commitment and a lot of pain. And in my opinion, the grass doesn't look as good, doesn't stripe as well. I would really want to keep you close to that 3/4 of an inch height of cut if I can. So that'd be the tip I would tell you. And then next up, your question is, realistically, how low do manual reel mowers go and still do a good job? 3/4 of an inch to an inch is where most of them will work well. If you find one that goes down lower than that, you'd have to get into one of like the specialty mowers. Like there's some specialty push greens mowers, like what is it, like the Hudson Star. Like those are designed for like mowing at greens heights, but I don't think that's what you have. So unless you have one of those, you're really going to want to be closer to 3/4 of an inch to an inch with a manual push mower. I really wouldn't try and go much lower than that. All right. Okay, next up is Robert Rainey. He says, I would do the overseed again. It set me back about 6 weeks, if I remember correctly. I enjoyed it. Now, looking back, it definitely keeps you outgoing year round. You know what, Robert? Here's what I think about overseeding your lawn. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. And it's, the pain of getting rid of the grass. Cause I remember you were kind of stressed out a little bit there whenever you had to go through and get rid of it and your Bermuda was taking a while to come in. I think overseeding your lawn, and granted, I'm saying this just as an example, but I have never been pregnant. However, I assume that this is kind of like that. Like you forget, have you ever seen, like, going on a big tangent here, but we'll see if I can bring this all back together. Like, if you've ever seen a woman have a child, right? Woman giving birth. Like, I can see, as a guy, how a woman would want to have one child. It makes no sense to me why you would ever do it twice. Because as a guy, it's like, this looks really, like, painful and just not a great time, right? And I think that overseeding is kind of the same way, Robert. Like it's like a year and a half have passed. You've kind of forgotten all the trials and tribulations, all the pain that you went through to kind of get the lawn back, to where you want it, and you're going to go try it again. So I think that's probably what you're experiencing with this. Because if I remember correctly, there was a little bit of stress last year when you were waiting for the Bermuda grass to come back in. So there you go. I mean, again, women can probably tell me, yeah, you have no idea what you're talking about, the pain of pregnancy, but that's what I'm thinking. It's been such a long time, you kind of forgot about it, and you're ready to go back again, forgetting everything that goes into doing that. All right. All right, next up is Ron S. He says, evening and happy Father's Day. Ron, I had plenty of questions, but your website resources were very helpful and got my answers. Thanks for your informative expertise. Glad to hear that, Ron S. That's what we aim for. That's what our goal is. Really, if you guys look at the blog, which we try to put out a new piece of content every week. We don't always hit that, but pretty much every week we try our best to do that. And these blog posts, like the one this week is on preventing Poa annua in Kentucky bluegrass lawns. The TLDR is use pre-emergent because there's not really an easy way to get rid of Poa annua and Poa triva in a bluegrass lawn. But pretty much all these blog posts are based on questions that we either get on the live stream or questions that we get from the store. Where either customers will write in and ask us a question, and we say, you know what, that's a good one, and we'll create a piece of content on it. So I'm glad that you're finding it useful, Ron S. I think there's last count, there's over 140 articles in here that are on various topics. So for the most part, if you can't find, you should be able to find the answer to your question about most at least the stuff that I've come across anyway, questions I've received as far as lawn care, either on the big catalog on YouTube or in one of the blog posts that are on the Golf Course Lawn Store. And again, we're always constantly updating it, trying to make it as good as possible. So love to hear that, that it's useful for you and that you're getting some value out of it, because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. It's one of these things that I said, I'm definitely gonna commit to doing this, and it's a lot more work, time and expense than I really thought, but you guys are getting a lot of value out of it. You know what I mean? So it's worth it. Okay, next up is Michael Thomasson. He says, yes, Ron, I sprayed again today. Tahoma 31 goes in on 6/27. When is that? How far out is 6/27? So 2 weeks from now? Okay. Sounds like a plan, man. I like it. Take pictures. Robert Rainey says, as long as you have a good game plan, it's not bad. It's a bit pricey, though. Yeah, it's like most things in life, though, man. You got to figure. If money's the only negative to it, then I'm not saying it's not necessarily. Then I'd say it's probably worth doing. You know what I mean? If you're saying, I did it and then my lawn was destroyed by it, or I didn't like the color of it, or I still had a bunch of Bermuda grass growing through. You have other arguments or things you didn't like about it, other than just the cost of doing it, then it's probably worth doing it again, assuming your budget permits. You know what I mean? All right, Ashanti is up next. He says, I did half an inch with my manual reel mower, Nick. It's nice, but you get washboarding quick, and I had to do an electronic conversion from reel CNC. Next upgrade will be a Revolution 26. So there you go. He was unable to maintain his lawn at half an inch with a push reel mower, which I am not surprised by. That you're really getting into power reel mower category. And even if you do have a power reel mower, it's still going to be a bit of a challenge to maintain a lawn at half an inch. It's a lot of work. All right, Ron S. says, neighbors are starting to ask, what are you doing to your lawn? Thanks again. That's a great compliment, man. It's a good compliment. You can't really beat that. When people are taking note and asking you, what are you doing to your lawn? What kind of grass do you have? And you say, it's the same thing that's in your lawn. It's getting a lot more love. There is that, right? So glad to hear that, Ron. Thank you so much. I will pass the feedback on to the rest of the team, and they will love to hear that the content that's being written is valuable. All right, Robert Rainey's up next. He says, I get bored easily. I could see that. Yeah, I can see that. The reason why the zoysia happened is, one, I just wanted to have some zoysia, and I get, it's something new. I could see that, Robert. So that's fair. It's a fair point. And then Ashanti says that Tahoma 31 is going to look real nice. I can't wait to see the updates. All right. Next up is RLE. He says, Ron, just found your channel earlier this year. I got the Revolution 26. Congrats. Nice mower. And your liquid app kit. Your spoon feeding plan is perfection for my Zenith Zoysia lawn in Hickory, North Carolina. Thanks for all you do. You are very welcome, sir. Glad to hear that the program is working well. And keep me posted. If you have any feedback on things that could be better, let me know. I'm always all ears to try and improve things. So, but I'm glad to hear that it's working well for you. And you just got a nice bit of kit, man. Revolution 26 is legit. It's a good mower. Tom Hoffenkamp says, thanks for all your help, Ron. Would I overseed again as of today? No way. I may reconsider in the fall. Just think of it like pregnancy, Tom. No, you probably never been pregnant either, but at this time next year, you'll have forgotten about it. A year will go by with you saying, this fall I'm not doing it. Forget that. And then next fall, 2026, you'll be like, you know what? It wasn't that bad. I can do it one more time. And then you'll go back out there and you'll go out and reseed the lawn, and you'll forget all the fun and pain you're going through now. And, the cycle just repeats itself over and over and over again. I get it. Higgy pops up next. He says, happy Friday, Ron. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Let's all hit the like button for Ron. It's free. Let's do that, guys. I mean, we got 105 people in the live stream, 95 likes. We're almost there. I'd like to have a nice like to people ratio so we can get some more likes in. I'd really appreciate that. All right. Next up is, let's see here. Colin says, I found out that some people really don't like seeing gypsum put on a lawn. Some angry comments on a video I made with it last year. Always interesting seeing what some people have to say. Colin, a small piece of advice, and not that I'm in any opinion to really give you advice about YouTube or people on the internet. However, I'm gonna still step out there anyway. Regardless of what you do, and I can promise you, there's not many things I can promise you in life other than death and taxes, but this is probably a close third after death and taxes. No matter what you do, someone is not gonna like it. And a lot of times when they say you shouldn't do X, Y, Z, it's not that you really shouldn't do X, Y, Z. It's more of their preference is not X, Y, Z. So just don't take it to heart. You know what I mean? If it's all par for the course. As soon as you decide you're going to make anything and be out there in the public space on any level, there's going to be people that are not going to like what you do for whatever reason. And I would just try and advise you to just not take it too seriously. I mean, it's that's probably gonna be the best thing. Just do what works best for you. Do your research. Work and learn, and experiment, and develop a program that works best for your lawn, and have fun with it. And don't take it too seriously. Good advice is if you would not take advice from them, or you wouldn't want to trade places with them, don't let what they say. Don't take it to heart. All right. That's what I would tell you, because people are gonna be ugly. The internet can be ugly. It's an ugly place sometimes. It's a really nice place, but there's a small percentage of people that are really mean. They're big meanies, much like in real life, right? All right, B.S. Smith is up next. He says, hey, Ron, been mowing my Zenith Zoysia at 5/8, now going to 1/2 inch, and the color is holding well. You go, B.S. Smith. So you're at 5/8, and you're saying, you know what? I'm going for broke. I'm going to take it down to fairway heights, 1/2 inch or bust. Keep us posted, man. Keep me posted as far as how well it does. And you know what? It's a fair point. Zoysia, I mean, I really like how mine looks at 3/4 of an inch, but I might be able to get the Zoysia down lower because it grows slower than the Bermuda. So it's probably not going to be a nightmare to maintain it at like 5/8 or 1/2 inch. But because I'm primarily using the Greensmaster this year, and I'm definitely not going to change the height of cut between the front lawn and the back lawn, it's probably going to stay at 3/4 of an inch. So I talked myself into it, and then logic kind of stepped forward and said, hey, this is what you're really signing up for if you decide to do that. So I'm probably not going to do it. But keep me posted as far as how yours works out for you, B.S. Smith. If any grass will be able to pull that off, Zoysia was a good candidate because it grows slower. So just keep us posted. Send us pictures at some point whenever you get happy with it. You said also really sandy soil. Should I go with higher topsoil to sand ratio than normal, say 70-30-ish? You could do 50-50 if you wanted to go with more compost / topsoil in your top dressing mix. I get it. So you got more sandy soil. I would still have at least half of what you're putting down be sand, B.S. Smith, because we're using the sand to help add structure. We're using the sand to help level out those uneven, bumpy areas of the lawn. Like compost or topsoil over the long term just isn't going to do a very good job with that. Like you probably don't have a lot of issues with drainage because your soil is primarily sandy, but if you're still trying to level off uneven areas, having some sand is really going to help with that. And especially since you're going to go now from 3/4 of an inch down to, 5/8 down to 1/2 inch, you're going to want the lawn to be smoother to help prevent scalping and this type of thing. So I would do 50-50, like half sand, half compost or screen topsoil, given that your sand is already more on the sandy side. All right. Keep us posted and send us pictures. Want to see how it comes out. The 2 Triller from Manila is in the live stream. He says, happy Friday, everyone, and thank you, Ron, for all this good rain that you have bestowed upon us. The lawn is looking better than ever. You are very welcome. I tried my best, man. All it took was ripping out 9 years of Bermuda grass and putting Zoysia in, and now you guys are getting tons of rain. You are very, very welcome. I'll do my best. Can't say it's going to happen next year, but for this year, enjoy it while it lasts. All right, John says, hey, Ron, that insecticide that smells like lemons, that stuff is amazing. Is this a good product to blanket spray or should it be watered in? Often, how often, please and thanks. Great question. So what you're talking about, what John is referring to is The Pest Control from Miramichi Green, it is, to his point, it is an excellent, excellent product. Let me see, it's going to be on our insecticide section. So this right here is what he's talking about. So awesome product, excellent for mosquitoes, ants, white flies. There's a bunch of chinch bugs. There's a bunch of things that are on the labels this controls, roaches. The nice thing about this, given that it is non-toxic, is that you can spray this. You want to answer your question, John, you can blanket spray the lawn with it, but also a great use case is, say you got company coming over, right? You got friends, family coming over for barbecue tomorrow, and you want to keep mosquitoes like away from the patio and whatnot. Like you can spray this on the patio, like that entire area. Really, once it dries, you're good to re-enter the area because again, it's a non-toxic product and it smells kind of has like a citrus smell to it, kind of like Pledge, but like not as bad. So like if Pledge could smell nicer, it's probably what I'd say it smells like. It's like a citrus lime kind of scent to it, and it works really well. It's got like a three week or so residual for mosquitoes. So as far as how often you would apply it, John, I'd say every 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks would be fine. Or if you have, again, company coming over, you have some event happening, you could absolutely spray like, the lawn, you could spray the patio areas that people are going to be, and that's going to pretty much keep mosquitoes at bay from using this product. So it's really good. Like we've been selling this for a number of years, yet I have yet to have anyone write into us and say, hey, listen, this thing was one of the best products I've ever used. So we've always gotten really good feedback on the Miramichi Green Pest Control. And if you want some options on how to use it, I did a video a couple years back that talks about different application rates, different ways of using it with a sprayer, like a fogger or a backpack sprayer. So check this out. Again, great product, and I really can't recommend it enough. It's really, really good. The folks at Miramichi Green did a great job with their non-toxic pest control. All right. And to answer your question, John, no, it does not need to be watered in. You don't need to water in. Just spray it and you're good to go. No need to water it in after application. All right. Okay. Next up, we has Colin, CPIMS. He says, I agree with your statement earlier. Nothing more satisfying than a fresh cut on the lawn. Always cool to see the before and after, even after a fresh cut. It is true, man. After a fresh cut, it's nice. Gives you a feeling of accomplishment. Color looks great. Stripes look great. It's nice and manicured. It is a fun thing. It's a fun thing. And just think, a few days later, you get to do it all over again. That's the fun part, right? It's always a chase. Okay, next up is James Bartholomew. He says, after having to kill off the perennial ryegrass in my new Tifway sod a month ago, I will not overseed it. The juice is not worth the squeeze. So there's someone that has went through, I don't want to say the pain, but just went through the less fun parts of a ryegrass overseed. And for right now, they say it's not for them. But you never know. You never know, James. Again, maybe not this fall, but maybe 2026 fall, a whole year will go by. You've forgotten about all this, and you'll say, you know what? I could do one more ryegrass overseed. It wasn't that bad. And then you'll be right back at it again, right? Could be a thing. And then John says, thanks for your advice on choosing Celebration, Bermuda over Centipede. Let me see, there we are. Over Centipede, I so love that I went that route. What would you say is the most terrible things I can do to fresh sod in terms of throwing down product? The worst things to do? Herbicides, overusing herbicides on a brand new lawn. So I wouldn't do that. The only things I would say, John, that you should really be applying, assuming you didn't fertilize before the lawn went in, like you've done that as part of the sodding project, I would do a fungicide application because you're going to be watering a lot and you want to help prevent disease issues in the lawn. And then outside of that, man, just mow it. Just mow it. As far as terrible things you can do, just like over fertilizing it, that's bad. Going after it with being aggressive with herbicides on a brand new lawn, also not great. Bermuda, unless you're doing like glyphosate or fusilate or something that's actually designed to kill Bermuda, it's pretty unlikely you're going to do any kind of permanent damage to it because it's just a really tough grass to really get rid of, even when you want to get rid of it. But those would be the big things. Herbicides are what I would really avoid until the lawn is largely established. You know what I mean? So my lawn, I did recognition and fusilate on it like 10 days ago or so, and that puts it about 2 months in. And I started seeing some Bermuda grass starting to grow in, starting to show its ugly head. So I said, you know what? This is a good test. So on a lawn that's relatively young, 2 months old, You know, I'm going to use this. I'm going to blanket spray it to start getting this Bermuda grass under control so it doesn't really begin taking off. And we'll see. You know, I mean, the nice thing is that, you know, if I damage my lawn, I can fix it. It's not a big deal. I mean, I don't, you know, I wasn't too really concerned about that. And it was a fun experiment to see on a relatively new lawn if there would be any adverse effects, and there were none. Like the product, that combination of recognition and Fusilade worked really good. Lawn tolerated it really well. And as you guys can see in the short that I linked, it's really effective against the Bermuda grass. Like you can literally see the little clumps of Bermuda grass that were there that are dying off, and all the zoysia around it is largely, I mean, you can't really tell that anything was even sprayed on it. So yeah. So the big thing to avoid, John, herbicide use, herbicide, and then over fertilization. Don't fall into the trap of thinking, I'm going to throw a lot of nitrogen at it. I'm trying to really push a bunch of growth really quickly. What I would say is just continue feeding the lawn on a normal schedule. 30 days from now, you can do your granular inputs. If you want to spoon feed with a nice biostimulant program, you can do that. The best thing you can do for a new lawn, once it begins getting established, is just to start mowing it frequently. Mow it, and that's really going to help it to root in and encourage new growth and really take off. With Bermuda grass, it's not going to take very long for that to establish, and mowing is going to really help speed that process along. All right. So hopefully that helps. I gave you some ideas of things not to do as far as the most terrible. Again, pushing too much growth and overuse of herbicides too soon is what I would tell you. All right. But I know you're not going to do that. You're not that kind of guy, John. Some folks might be doing it, but I know you would never do that. All right. All right. Lewis P86 is up next. He says, Ron, if your significant other had to choose one lawn care item to surprise you with on Father's Day, what would you want most? Oh, what would I want most? Oh man, I don't know. I already have all the stuff that I want, man. I mean, me getting any new toys, I would have to get rid of something. I don't know. I don't know what I would get if I had to get something else. I don't know. You know what? Maybe I don't even know if I would use it. I say a prism gauge would be cool to have, but I don't know that I would. I mean, I would even really use it that much. I would want to have one just so I would feel less inadequate. Like, you know, so I can feel like I'm on Robert's level, because he's got like all the cool tools. You know, he's got, you know, the prism gauge. I don't have one of those, so maybe a prism gauge. But I'm pretty good, man. I've got the mowers that I like. I've got a good sprayer. I've got a good program. Man, I'm pretty good. I don't know. I don't really know what else I would really what I would really need if someone just surprised me with anything. I don't know, maybe new blades for my stick edger. There's that. That's like a wear item that I need. So like new blades for stick edger, maybe a coupon to like the place where I go and get my mower sharpened, maybe that. But I mean, outside like maintenance stuff, I don't really need anything else for my lawn. It's I'm in a pretty good spot, I think. You know what I mean? Next up, I'd say is, let's see, we got True Gator Fan. He says, happy Friday, Ron. Getting a mow in. What's up with you guys mowing your lawns while you're on the live stream? I swear. He says, we'll be putting down Carbon Pro G, granular / liquid fertilizer, and some biostims tomorrow. I like it. I like where your mind is. Mowing and then feeding the following day. It's sweet. Sweet. Tom Hovenkamp says, on John Williams, congrats on the celebration. The party never ends. That is beautiful turf. I would agree. All right. Next up is the neighbor's enemy. Says, what is the name of the product to get rid of some Bermuda I have growing in my zoysia that I need to get rid of? Yeah, so it's recognition and Fusilade. So you can do them a la carte, but we have a kit that has the recognition, the Fusilade, surfactant, and a spray indicator dye that makes it, again, just pretty much everything you need other than the sprayer to apply it and get a good result. And again, I've personally, like, we tested it a couple of years back. An Academy member had really good results. I personally have tested it on my lawn. I've done it on a lawn that was relatively new because I just wanted to see. I was just, brand new sod. Let's see what happens. And worked great, man. I mean, I cannot recommend enough. Stick to the rates. I'll just tell you that. A piece of advice I tell you if you decide to go do this is stick to the rates. Again, when it comes to recognition, it's the small end. It's the 0.03 scoop, which is not very much. And then for Fusilade 2, it's like just over half an ounce, like 0.55 fluid ounces, which again is not very much, but that's all it really takes. The zoysia, for the most part, I mean, there's no real discoloration or damage, and the Bermuda grass, dying off nicely as it should. So this is recognition and fusillade. This is the combination that you need to get rid of Bermuda grass in a zoysia, St. Augustine, or I think there's one other. I think it's kikuyu grass, but we don't really have that here on the East Coast lawn. That's what it is good for. All right. So hope that helps with neighbors envy. If you need anything else, definitely let me know. All right. Moving on, we have Adam Stark says, "Hey, Ron and Lawn Crew, I missed the last 2 lives, but caught them now. Thanks. Good, glad to hear that." And then next up is John Williams. He says, "I want to go a little slower with my sod in terms of nitrogen, being that it's so new. Do you think that's a bad idea to go like slow release and some micros and release zero stuff like that? Thanks." I would just feed the lawn the normal schedule that you have been doing on your lawn in the past. So I'll tell you, like my zoysia is getting the same program that my Bermuda is getting outside of plant growth regulator, which is around 0.7 of a pound of nitrogen per month, and it's been doing really well. So I wouldn't really change up too much, John, as long as you're not out there putting out like, you know, you're overusing nitrogen or overusing products. You really should be okay. I mean, the big thing is as long as you're mowing it regularly and you're feeding it somewhere between 0.7 to a pound of nitrogen per month, you're going to be fine. There's no need to really go and change things up too much, in my opinion. And then release zero if you're doing that and micros along with your granular fertilizer. It's going to be just fine. Going to be just fine. In other words, you don't need to baby the new sod that much, other than just being sensible about herbicide use. As far as mowing, you can mow it. As far as fertilizing it, you can do that. You can treat it well. You can be on it. You can be out there mowing it. Just don't overuse herbicide. Don't overuse fertilizer. Just be sensible as far as inputs is what I would tell you. Okay, Matt the mailman is up next. He says, "Hey, Ron, thanks for the help with Fusillade 2 for quackgrass. Since watching you the past 2 years, my lawn has flourished, and I appreciate all the info and help. Hit that like button, everyone." Love to hear that, Matt. Glad to hear that your lawn is doing well. It's not just watching, though. I mean, you actually did the stuff, but yeah, I get what you're saying. All right, Adam Stark says, "I had them on replay. It's not live sports, so it works to see the replay. Sports is different. Can't watch it after it's gone." I get it. And then, by the way, I hit the like button and having typing issues tonight. It happens, man. Happens to the best of us. Andre Taylor's up next. He says, "Happy Friday, everyone, and happy Father's Day to all the dads." And then we have Austin T. He says, "Hey, Ron, I took the front yard to dirt in order to resod. Just moved in and it was bad. A pipe burst under our house." Good Lord, that's not good. "Now I have to put off the sod for a month or so. Tips to reduce runoff." Yeah, I don't have a lot of really good ones, Austin. I mean, you could do I don't even know if annual ryegrass would grow now. I mean, you could do something that's going to establish really quickly, like annual ryegrass, to just kind of hold the soil in place, but I don't know how well it would really do as hot as it is this time of year. A month, you should be okay in a month. The thing you're probably going to find more so than runoff, like soil erosion, is just you're going to start having weeds in the lawn. So if it's bare dirt, then yeah, weeds are probably going to be your biggest challenge. If you took the existing lawn, let's say your existing lawn was, say, Bermuda grass, right? And then you just cut it down, you cut it really short, like you scalped it really low. Like scalping Bermuda really short is not enough to really get rid of it. So if you are, like, while your funds are being used to fix the damaged pipe that was under the house, the Bermuda grass is just going to start growing back. You know what I mean? So it's not like you scalping it really low is going to get rid of it. But if you have another grass that doesn't tolerate being scalped, then, and you are going to deal with a bunch of bare dirt, the biggest thing that you're likely going to deal with, again, assuming the lawn is relatively flat, is going to be like just weed pressure. Soil erosion, I mean, you may have some of that, but it's primarily going to be weeds, and in which case you can just use glyphosate. You can use just some selective herbicide to get rid of them, is what I would tell you. Okay, because given that it's only going to be a month, I don't know that it's worth the headache of going out and seed a grass just to help with erosion control, because it's not going to really be around that long. You know what I mean? All right. Michael Thomas says, sorry, too many messages. Kept hitting the send button. My bad. No worries about it, man. It happens. It happens. Cody Lewis says, Ron is the man. Thanks so much, Cody. I really appreciate that. I guess in small areas. Next up, we have, already answered that one. Jared George has entered the chat. He says, Ron, having my best Bermuda season yet. Love to hear that. Been mowing 4 to 5 times a week. Dude, you are dedicated. You're more than I am. It's good. I'm currently on 7 days in a row. We may need an intervention, Jared. This is getting a little scary. I'm due for another half dose of Primo next week. Can I up the amount? I'd like to mow less. I wouldn't. I would not increase the rate. So here's what I would tell you. When it comes to the half rate program for Primo, if you're doing, okay, so just do it this way. If you're looking at the label, the rates for Primo on Bermuda grass, on hybrid Bermuda grass, are 1/4 of an ounce, so 0.25 ounces on the low end, up to just under 0.4 ounces. I think it's like 0.38 ounces on the high end. So if we're taking that, cutting it in half, and spraying every 2 weeks, then you could do something like 1/2 ounce every 2 weeks and 4 gallons of water on the low end, to just under 0.8 of an ounce, or 0.8 on the high end. So depending on where you are in that range, you might be able to bump it up a little bit, but I would not like drastically increase the amount of plant growth regulator you're using, because then you're going to start having like some bad effects from it, right? Get some discoloration, that type of thing. So as long as you are within the label rates, the range that Syngenta gives you for applying the product, then yeah, you can move up or move down as you see fit, but I would not exceed the rates. If you're looking for better regulation outside of what just Primo can provide, you can stack a new EZ along with Primo. These two together works really well for slowing down, for really locking down a lawn. It really does make a noticeable difference as far as how quickly the lawn grows. So that'd be the next thing I'd say, the next step. Versus increasing the rate, like really boosting the rate on Primo, I would more quickly want you to move towards adding a new EZ to your growth regulator program. And that's also going to help slow down how often you have to mow. Another thing you can do is raise the height of cut. If you raise the height of cut, that's also going to reduce the mowing requirements. So that's also another option as well. All right. Next up is Sean Williams says, yeah, Mr. Ron, I don't play games. I quit kindergarten because they had a recess. Okay, John, I got you. I see what you're saying. Yeah, and I did show all the pictures of your lawn, like the nine bags. What he's talking about is this is his renovation project. So you see all the sod, but then also most impressive are was it 9 bags? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so 9 bags of super sods. I see the level mixture compost. So yeah, that's big commitment there. And along with everything else that he did, getting the new sod put in, and you can see the results. So you quit kindergarten because they had recess. I get it. All right. Next up is Heli OC says, would I use the T-Jet flood jet tip for the application of the Miramichi Green Pest Control on a lawn, or the foliar spray tip be better? I would use the foliar spray tip if it were me. I would use the foliar spray tip. Either one will work. It doesn't really matter, but for me, I would use the foliar spray tip. Okay. Next up is Melvin Atta. He says, hey, Ron, why don't you use surfactant with Primo and your liquid blend? It's going to, because you're much more likely to cause a damage or discoloration of the lawn. Like Primo already does a pretty good job sticking to the leaf of the plant, of the grass. And then the liquid fertilizers that we use, and biostimulants like the products from Miramichi, and also the formulation that we work with the Andersons on to create the golf course lawn micros and the 22-3 does not require surfactant. In general, with most liquid fertilizers, you don't want to use surfactant. You're just increasing the likelihood that you're going to cause some burning or damage to the lawn. So in general, the only products that I use surfactants for are herbicides. I don't use it with liquid fertilizer or really anything else. I mean, there are also some moisture managers that use surfactants, but that's a different type than what's used, like a spreader sticker that's used on used with herbicides. So yeah, that's why don't use spreader sticker with Primo or liquid fertilizer sprays, you are very likely to cause some discoloration in your lawn if you do that, because you don't really need to. You don't need to do it. Like Primo does a pretty good job on its own of sticking and adhering to the leaf of the plant. As long as you're spraying it with the right droplet size, right rates, you're going to be good to go. There's no need to use surfactant along with it. Just going to cause, it's going to have a negative result by doing that. So I would not go that route. All right. Next up is Heli OC says, when I apply the micronutrient liquid fertilizer, should I bag the grass clippings before I apply? No, not necessary. Not unless you want to. Not unless you want to. No. Next up is It's Me 2017. It says, how do I stop Bermuda out of the mulch beds? Keep using Roundup and it kills it, but more comes back days later. So instead of just using glyphosate, use glyphosate and Fusilade 2. Glyphosate and Fusilade 2 is going to do a better job keeping it out of the beds than just glyphosate alone. Be careful with this because if you have any overspray that gets in your lawn, it's going to damage your lawn. So what I'd say is if you're going to do this combination of glyphosate and Fusilade, use a piece of cardboard or something else to shield the lawn so you don't get any overspray into it. I've got a video that shows the rates that I like to use for this combination, and it works really well. Like if you look at the video or the picture, let me see here. Where do I have that? I think those pictures are under Roundup. I think they're under the glyphosate product. Let me look really quickly here. I want to make sure I'm showing you the right thing, which I think I am. Yep, here we go. Cool. So yeah, right here. If you look at the page for Roundup for glyphosate, this is glyphosate and diquat. But I had some Bermuda grass in my mulch beds. I mixed this along with Fusilade 2. So this is the corner of my house. You can see how much Bermuda grass was living its absolute best life. It was loving it. It was like, hey guys, hey mulch, Bermuda's here, respect. So this is it before. And then I hit it with the glyphosate and Fusilade combo. And this is 2 weeks later. And the nice thing is that was pretty much it for the season. Like I didn't have any of it really come back into the mulch beds for the rest of that season. Now, the thing you have to be careful with, if you look, it's kind of hard to see it, but if you look in the lower left-hand corner of this picture, you see the grass there, like so there's the pavers there and you see the grass there. The grass that was up against the pavers, that also, it didn't die, but it did get slightly discolored when I did this, because you think about it, the grass that's in the mulch bed, like that grass came from somewhere. So the stolons and the rhizomes that kind of made their way either under the pavers or over the pavers to get into the mulch beds, like some of this combination, the glyphosate and Fusilade, found its way into the grass that's right bordering the mulch beds. So the only thing I would tell you is, even though that combination, glyphosate and Fusilade, really good for controlling Bermuda grass, is that you will likely get some mild discoloration for the Bermuda grass that's right up against the mulch bed. Because you think about it, again, the Bermuda grass that's in the mulch bed isn't just off by itself. Like it came from your lawn. So you spray the herbicide, like some of that's going to translocate and it's going to get, the grass that's right near the mulch beds is likely to get discolored a little bit, but it's going to recover. So just one thing to keep in mind. That's what I would tell you. I would use glyphosate and I would use Fusilade 2. And if you want a video showing how I mix them, actually, I will, my Bermuda to Zoysia video will show you those products, because it's the same combo. I just used it to get rid of Bermuda and Zoysia, but it's the same combo that you can use in your mulch beds. So check out this video. It's me. If you're assuming you're still here. That right there will get you all squared away as far as the products that I used and how I mix them. All right. Okay. Well, guys, and one last thing. I mean, if you guys have not noticed, we have the pinned comment. There is a lawn survey that we're trying to collect some data for the business, for the golf course lawn store, to find out like what some of your lawn care challenges are, the kind of grass you have, size of your lawn, those types of things. If you do that, if you grace us with a minute of your time to fill that survey out, at the end, you'll be given a coupon code that is good until midnight tonight that will save you 5% on your next order from the golf course lawn store. You can only use it one time, so make it good. Like, we don't normally do sales, so this is a chance for us to, one, get some feedback from you guys and also help you save a little bit on your lawn care products. So if you've not used it yet, feel free to, again, it's the pinned comment on YouTube, but if you're not on YouTube, if you're on Facebook or Instagram or the Twitter, then this is the link for it, lawn survey. So you will check that out. And you fill it out at the end, you'll get a coupon code. That's probably already all over the internet right by now already, because it's the same code, and you'll save 5%. You can only use it once though, so make it worth it. Okay, next up we have Louis P86. Actually, no, it's Melvin Otto. He says, hey Ron, why don't you use surfactant with Primo? I've already answered this. He says, I'm following your spoon feeding program. You're right, there is life after Primo. My lawn is looking like a black belt level. Very nice, I like it. Louis B says, ever thought about adding a fertilizer stain remover to the golf course lawn store? I've thought about using, are you talking about like a tank cleaner or something for like sidewalks? You're talking about like something for washing pavement? That's a good idea. That's a good idea, Louis P86. I've not thought about doing that, but that's actually not a good idea. Let me do some digging on that and see. That's a good question. Good comment. I will look into it. All right, next up is Jimmy Miller. He says, I got the Triticona, the Triacide insect killer from Spectracide in the ready-to-use bottle, but it doesn't mix right. Can you put it in a different hose end sprayer, like an empty hydrotane hose end sprayer? I would not do that. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. No, because again, I would imagine, don't know for sure, but I'd imagine that the sprayer that the bottle that the Spectracide comes in is calibrated to put out the correct amount of product. It's supposed to mix it with the right amount of water and put out the correct amount of product. I would not go out and then transfer that to like a hydrotane bottle. I wouldn't know. To answer the question, no. I wouldn't do that, Jimmy. That's a good way to have a problem. I would not do that. I mean, there are some hose end sprayers that can be calibrated. I think Ortho makes one that can be adjusted, but I don't know what setting you would use for the Spectracide if your ready-to-use bottle is not working. I mean, you might be able to call them. They may have a phone number on the bottle or on their website. You can call them and say, hey, if I'm using like an Ortho, like the dial, one with the dial on it, what setting should I use? What they'll probably do is they'll also say, hey, don't do that. We'll just send you a new bottle. That's probably what will happen. All right, next up is Ruben Texiera is up next. He says, happy Friday, Ron. Was just curious, is why your fertilizer so much expensive? Must be the best quality ever. Do you recommend raising the blades high in hot summer days? Well, a couple things. One, I don't really think our fertilizer is that expensive. I mean, we have to acquire it, we have to ship it to you. And then also, if you look at what's in them compared to competing products, if you look at like for example, our liquid fertilizers, for example, the rates that we use for our biostimulants, like the products from Miramichi, and also for our liquid fertilizers, like the 22-3 and the micronutrient, are quite a bit lower than what you would get for a lot of other products that you commonly see on YouTube or in the lawn care space, because you're mainly getting product, you're not getting water. So our products are just more concentrated, so they cost more to produce. As far as the ingredients, like we tend to, like my concept or my feeling behind how you create a great lawn is that it's not just the nutrients that you put in. It's not just like the fertilizer that you put in the lawn. It's a whole system to include biostimulants and things that will help encourage the biology in the soil to perform its best, which is why you'll see humic acid, fulvic acid, you'll see biochar in a lot of our products, like our fertilizers from Lebanon. All of them have humic acid in them. They have kelp in them. So it's not like just a nitrogen product. So you can't compare like the products that we carry to what you would find at, say, the big box stores, because they are blends of not just fertilizer, but blends of fertilizer and biostimulants. So for that reason, they cost more, they produce excellent results, and what can I tell you, magic ain't cheap, So that's why our stuff costs what it costs. And the only thing I can tell you is that, next year, they're probably going to cost more. Like most things in life, like the cost of the stuff doesn't get any less expensive. And I think the results that we're able to produce on grasses of all types across the country show the program really works. You know what I mean? So it'd be one thing if you're using like a ton of product The rates are really high, and the products the rates are comparable to what you'd use with other things, but that's just simply not the case. Like all of our products go further. Like you use less, you get as good, or in most cases, I think better results. And it's a more comprehensive program versus just throwing nitrogen, phosphorus, or potassium at a lawn. You're addressing everything, which I think produces a better program. So that's why. All right, next up is Adam Starks. He says, nice work, Claude. I agree, man. Claude from Connecticut with the Cool Season Lawn, he's doing the work, man. Overall, looking really good. Him and Ted, they're doing the business. All right, Mace is up next. He says, hey, Ron, evening, guys. Missed last week's and driving tonight, but hope you have a great show, Ron. Your lawn is looking great. It's getting there, man. It's getting there. Back lawn's looking good. The zoysia's coming in. There's always something to fix, but it's getting there. I would agree with you. I'm very happy. I'm quite happy with the zoysia lawn. It's doing better than I thought it would, given how young it is. We got a cash app from Craig Kennedy. Thank you so much, Craig. I really appreciate that. Thank you for the cash app. Appreciate all the love and support. And then next up is Heli OC. He says, I've sent you an email recently of my St. Augustine lawn. I'm hoping to get my lawn to the point where it's golf course lawn worthy. What is your name, Heli OC? If you send me a picture of it, it should be, I don't know. You got to tell me what your real name is, because unless your email name is Heli OC, I don't know which one is you. So if you want to email me again while the show is going, I'll see if I can get a picture of your lawn on the show, but I don't see anything. I don't have any new emails from anyone that I haven't already shown their lawn. So if you want to send me an email now, you want to try, it's ron@golfcourselawn.com. If you can, send the email with the picture. Is it like landscape, not portrait? Because it makes it easier for me to format it and get them on the show. But if you want to do that, I'm happy to show your lawn. Happy to do it. Or if you want to wait till your lawn's looking really good and you want to wait till it's looking its best, that's fine too. But yeah, absolutely your call. All right, next up is Suraj Malhotra. He says, hey y'all, Ron, I just renovated backyard with Blackjack Bermuda from seed. Finished third mowed at 3/4 of an inch. Is it safe to use pre-emergent this August, September? Records. I'm not sure what the rest of that is. When are we in now? We're in June, July, August. Yeah. I mean, if you wanted in September, yeah. If it were me, I would. Bermuda grass. If you had a cool season lawn, I'd be less inclined to tell you that. But a Bermuda lawn, sure. Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with doing that. My lawn was sodded in December, and it got pre-emergent the following spring. So yeah, it should be just fine. And if you're already mowing it, we still got plenty of summer left, plenty of temperature left. So as long as it's, you're keeping up with it, you're mowing it well, feeding it well, it's doing well, then yeah, I don't see a problem with you doing pre-emergent in the fall. Just be sensible with the rates is the thing I would tell you. Like if you're going to use something like Spectacle, instead of doing one application at the higher rate, I'd probably push you more towards doing split apps. So do like a lower rate in say September, and then again in December. So just kind of break it up. If you're doing prodiamine, same kind of thing. Instead of going heavy, just one app, just break it up into a couple of split applications. That would be the only modification I might tell you to make to your fall pre-emergent app. All right. And congrats on the new lawn. Should come in really nicely. Aaron says, up to how much nitrogen can you put down per month? Is 1 pound per month overkill if you have thin Bermuda? So conventional guidance will say 1 pound of nitrogen per month during the growing season for Bermuda grass is what you're going to use. So I'd say anywhere between like what I do, which is less than that, about 30% less than that, of 0.7 of a pound of nitrogen, up to 1 pound of nitrogen per month is what you can do. If you have a thin area in your lawn, Aaron, oftentimes nitrogen is not necessarily going to be the answer. So in other words, if the rest of your lawn looks really good and you got one area that's a little bit thin, we want to figure out why it's that case. And a lot of times it's shade. So if you're not getting enough sunlight, that will cause a lawn to be thin. If it's not getting enough water, it'll cause it to be thin. If there is some debris under the lawn, like whereas in the springtime when it's not quite as hot, the lawn, an area, a lawn that has like a rock or plywood or something under it, you might get away with that when temperatures are cooler. But now when it's getting hotter, that area is going to dry out sooner, which could cause it to become thin. So I would do some investigation work in that area and try and figure out like which of those things is it? Not enough water, not enough sunlight. That's often a big thing with Bermuda. Some kind of debris under the soil. Like which of these is it that's causing it to be thin? And try and work on correcting that, and then just continue feeding the lawn like again a normal, a sensible amount of nitrogen. You should be good to go. In other words, if the rest of the lawn looks good and you have one area that's a little bit thin, more nitrogen, in my opinion, is not going to be the solution. You want to figure out why that part of the lawn is not doing well and correct whatever it is, and then it should do as well as the rest of the lawn. You know what I mean? So hopefully that helps. A pound of N per month is not overkill, but if you are getting great results in the rest of the lawn and it's just one area that is a little bit thinner, it's probably not a nitrogen deficiency that's causing the problem. It's probably one of the other things I was telling you about. Okay? So hope that helps, sir. If you need anything else, let me know, and have fun with the investigation, trying to figure out like what's causing that area to be thinner. Probably lack of sunlight. RLE is up next. He says, I would recommend the Revolution 26 to anyone. If you can operate a wrench, you can take perfect care of that mower. Now, I would say that, that's a good point, RLE, and it's not really talked about enough. Like, any mower that is well adjusted and sharp, for the most part, is going to do a pretty good job cutting a lawn. The thing that's nice about the Revolution, also nice about, say, like greens mowers, is that they're really easy to take care of. Like, to backlap my mower, like I don't have to disassemble anything. I just take a half-inch driver, stick it in the receiver, the socket that's there on the right side of the mower, and backlapping it is super easy. With the Revolution, you just take one cover off, half-inch socket, and then backlapping it, super easy. So you are right. That's a good point that's really not talked about enough. In addition to the mower being well-designed and easy, like well-constructed, does a great job cutting, it's also easy to take care of. It's easy to adjust the reel to bed knife tolerance, like all that stuff is just really well done. So it's a good point. Not spoken about enough. All right. Oh, so we got some pictures of your lawn. Okay, I got you. So Jose. So Heli O is really Jose. And yeah, so your lawn is a work in progress, as you said. You're trying to get it golf course lawn worthy. I gotcha. We'll show the folks what you're working with. We can still, even not only amazing lawns are showing here, man, even lawns that are, we'll say in progress, that are under construction, they can get some airtime too. So let's see what you got here. It's yeah, I mean, it's definitely got some challenges. I think we may have shown this lawn before, but if not, we'll show it one more again. All right, so this is what he's working with. Yeah, so a couple things, Jose, that I'd see that's jumping out for me, Heli OC, is that in addition, like we've been asking questions about like nutrient program and whatnot. The one thing I can definitely say is that we're not mowing enough. We're not mowing enough, because if I look at some of the overgrowth over onto the driveways, like that is not 2 or 3 days of mowing. That's not 2 or 3 days of growth after mowing is what I'm trying to tell you. So we'd go down the same path. Let me look here. Yep. So you got a tree, looks like there in the lawn. That's going to cause challenges. But I would just walk down the same process I'd recommend for anyone that's trying to get a lawn under control. Get weeds under control. It looks like you do have some weed pressure here and there in the lawn, so we want to address that. Do a soil test, feed the lawn based on the soil test results, and then start getting more regular with your mowing. Because looking at the picture, again, I'm not accusing you anything, not really accusing, I'm just saying there's probably not 2 days of growth that's causing what I'm seeing here in the lawn. You know what I'm saying? So if we can up that mowing, that's also going to help encourage more growth in the lawn. Heli OC. That would be my recommendation to you. In addition to doing a soil test and start feeding it, make sure to get more regular on that mowing. All right. Okay, Aaron is up next. He says, what's the best way to get rid of dollar spot? Is there anything that cures it and prevents it? So yeah, so great question. So as far as preventing or can also curing dollar spot, propiconazole, as far as fungicides go, like propiconazole is labeled to control dollar spot, Aaron. The thing you have to realize though too, is that in most, if you have like a Bermuda lawn or a zoysia lawn, if the lawn is getting enough nitrogen, then dollar spot, even though you see little cobwebs on the lawn in the morning, they typically do not materialize, don't really turn into anything. So you don't, in other words, they don't really cause damage in the lawn, or if there is any, it grows to it really quickly. So to answer your question, propiconazole is what I would use. And then as far as preventing it, just make sure that if you've got a warm season lawn like Bermuda or Zoysia, that you're feeding, that you're giving it enough nitrogen. So make sure you're feeding it, somewhere between 7/10 to a pound of nitrogen over the course of a month, and that's really enough. And the lawn really shouldn't have issues with getting damaged by dollar spot. You might see the cobwebs in the lawn in the morning, but they really shouldn't turn into anything. All right. So that would be my recommendation. Hopefully that helps. As far as options for propiconazole or fungicides that will control dollar spot, either one of the two that we talk about the most on the golf course lawn store will work. So Pillar SC, this has triticonazole in it, which will also control dollar spot, and then Headway G has propiconazole in it, which will control dollar spot. So either one of these, either option, whether you like, if you like liquid, go with this one. If you like granular, go with Headway. Either one of those will work well for the purposes of controlling and managing dollar spot and other diseases in your lawn. But I mean, just really big thing is, just for a Bermuda lawn, if it's being fed properly, typically doesn't turn into anything. Typically doesn't become much of a problem. All right. All right. Next up is C. Pims. He says, definitely agree and no for sure. Can't please everyone. Plus everyone's application is different. And at the end of the day, it's grass type, soil type, foundation type. Yeah, and at the end of the day, like lawn care is personal, right? It's like finances. Like everyone wants to do, like what you do with your money and how you manage your finances is personal. How you manage your lawn, for most part, is personal. Like there's tons of different ways of getting a great lawn. There's not one good way of doing it, or not one only way of doing it. So yeah. All right. And then next up is C. Pims. He says, at the end of the day, everyone's going to do what they know works best for their specific application. That's exactly right. Or what they like, what they enjoy. You know what I mean? What they like. Like I've had people that have reached out to me that says, you know what? I use Milo on my lawn and I love the way it looks. Why should I change it from Milo? I'm like, do you like the way your lawn looks? I says, yeah. I said, do you like the program that you're using? Yeah. So then I should just keep doing what you're doing. If you like it, then why change it? If you don't like it, then you can look in other options and try switching some things out here and there. But if you like your program, if you like the results you're getting, then why change what works? Why change what works? All right. Next up is Antoine Clacken. He says, trying to get rid of St. Augustine in a friend's centipede lawn. Yeah, I don't know of a way to do that one. Don't know if any products are available. Suggested cutting it low, 1 to 1.5 inches with a rotary mower. St. Augustine has been struggling but resilient. Any thoughts? Thank you. Yeah, I mean, mowing it shorter, like centipede will tolerate being mowed shorter than St. Augustine, but as far as herbicides, I don't know of one that will do that. I don't know. In other words, I don't know of a herbicide that will remove St. Augustine that also won't damage centipede. You know what I mean? Like if it were Bermuda, you could use quinclorac, but quinclorac will damage both centipede and St. Augustine, so you can't do that. So mowing it short, even that, I don't know if that's really going to truly going to get rid of it. I mean, yeah, I don't know the answer to that one. I don't know the answer to selectively remove St. Augustine out of a centipede lawn. I don't know if there's a selective way of doing that. Not one that I'm aware of. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but I'm not aware of a way to do that. Andre Taylor is up next. He says, with all the rain in the past week and upcoming next week, do you recommend putting out a preventative fungicide application? Not really. If you've done one the beginning of June, then you should be good to go. So if you look at our calendar under resources and lawn care schedule down here, you'll find for the month of May, we recommend a preventative fungicide app, and then also for the month of June, fungicide app, mainly because this time of year tends to get hotter, and also we start getting we still have rain, which this year we're getting a lot of rain, more than usual, but that's the reason why this time of year is why we recommend preventative fungicide apps. If you've already done one for June, so we're already almost midway into June, if you did one at the beginning of June, I would not do another one now. You should be good to go for the rest of this month. So all depends, Andre. If you already applied it, don't need to do anything. If you've not applied fungicide in June yet, then yeah, you could do a fungicide app. It's relatively cheap insurance. All right. Mr. Barriga says, Ron, hope all is well. A lot of rain in Long Island, New York. Red thread. Yeah, we're all getting a lot of rain this time of year, man. It'll be fine. Once the rain stops, your lawn should recover from it. Should be okay. All right, Heli OC says, I have applied Celsius and Certainty herbicide, so when the fertilizer and liquid fertilizer arrive, I'll be ready to go to work. Nice, but also don't forget to keep up with your mowing. You know what I mean? So you're, as long as you're getting the weeds under control, that's good. But then also your regular mowing is going to be an important part of getting the best possible lawn. All right, Marlon McBride says, I don't have a green thumb at all. I have builder grade Bermuda grass. How much sun does it really need? My backline gets about 4 to 5 hours of sun and has died for the last 2 years. Yeah, 4 to 5 hours is not enough. And the answer to your question is Bermuda needs all the sunlight, like 7 to 8 hours of direct sunlight, not filtered through trees, is what you really want for Bermuda to do its absolute best. Like anything less than that is going to cause it to eventually become thin. It's going to thin out. So if I show you, let me show you an example here. Like my front lawn, I don't know if I have a good video of it, but maybe, I think I do. Okay, so you see that shrub that's there in the background? Like if you look down the sidewalk, you see the shrub that's there at the end of the lawn? Around that, like the zoysia looks great around there because zoysia needs a little bit less sun, but around that shrub, which is not very big, right? And the way the sun passes over the house, like literally the sun shines on that part of the lawn towards the end of the day, so it gets a lot of sunlight, other than what's shaded by that little bitty shrub. It's not even a very big one, right? And just that alone, just that one little shrub alone, was enough to cause the grass about 18 inches around it to be thin. So I show you that to say that area, the front lawn, for the most part, gets a ton of sunlight. But just that one little section, just a little bit of filtered light that comes through that shrub, the grass that's near it, is enough for it to become thin. And that front lawn, that area gets way more than 4 to 5 hours of direct sunlight. And just that little bit of shade was enough to cause a noticeable material change as far as like visibly that area being thinner than others. So 4 to 5 hours is really, of direct sunlight, really not enough for Bermuda. And it's kind of telling you that because you're saying that every year for the last 2 years, it just dies or it goes dormant. So your options are to get more sunlight on the lawn. That would be ideal, or change to a different grass type. So zoysia, 5 hours is probably going to be enough for zoysia. You may still have some areas where it's a little bit thin, but zoysia is going to do much better with 4 to 5 hours of sunlight than Bermuda will. 4 to 5 hours for Bermuda just not even close to being enough for it to really look its absolute best. Like it'll grow in some spots, but it's going to be thin. It's never going to look really good. So that would be my recommendation for you, Marlon. If you can't increase the amount of sunlight, the next thing is just changing the grass. Changing the grass to something else like zoysia. Like zoysia is going to be your next best bet because it requires less direct sunlight than Bermuda, and it can still do well. Like 4 to 5 hours is still, that's kind of on the low end, but it's going to be better than Bermuda. Well, like Bermuda's never going to look good with 4 to 5 hours of sunlight in the lawn. So sorry you're dealing with that, but at least you have the answer. You're not out there like throwing fertilizer and throwing other products at the Bermuda to try and get it to grow, because the only kryptonite, like I'd say not the only, but the primary kryptonite for Bermuda grass, more so than other grass, is lack of sunlight. Like Bermuda grass just really does not tolerate shade well. There are some cultivars, if you look at like Tiff Tough, like they say it's a bit more shade tolerant, but it still needs a ton of sunlight, man. Like 4 to 5 hours is not going to be enough for it to really look good. So Bermuda grass is like shade and Bermuda, like ice cream and mayonnaise, just don't go together. So I would say if you want grass back there, you're going to be changing to something else. All right, Sheldon M is up next. He says, hey, Ron, I would like to apply prodiamine in my yard near the garden after the fall harvest. Should I have concerns about the soil when we are ready to plant our garden the following spring? Yeah, any kind of herbicides which prodiamine would count as that you're going to use, I would keep it away. I would keep it at least 10 feet away or so from anything that you're growing that you're planning to eat. I would not like let prodiamine get into your gardens, because it's designed for ornamental turf grass, right? It's not designed for use in gardens. So I would keep it away from, again, anything you're planning to eat. So you want to, not even just like a few feet, like 10 feet away is what I would look for to reduce the chances of having any of it being taken up by the plants that are growing in your garden. All right. All right, so next up we have JP. He says, "Good evening, Ron. Loving all the turf talk. Happy Father's Day." Thanks so much, JP. I appreciate that. When is Father? Is it Sunday? When is Father's Day? I should know this, but I guess it's normally on the Sunday, right? When is Father's Day? Oh yeah, Sunday. Yeah, so yeah. Okay, I should know this, but I don't. I just know that I know all the holidays that involve me getting gifts for people, but as far as ones for me, I don't, because I don't really, it doesn't really matter to me either way. Like I'm pretty easy when it comes to going that, but you don't want to miss like Mother's Day or Christmas or birthdays, those kind of things. Not good. All right, Adam says rotary scissors. I already got those. I already got a pair of rotary scissors. But yes, if I did not have rotary scissors, that would be a great gift. Because you know why? Rotary scissors are one of those things that until you get a pair of them, or I say a pair, until you get one, a set, you don't realize how awesome they are. Like it's a relatively specialized tool, but for what it's designed to do, nothing else does as good a job. Like you think about it, if you're real mowing a lawn, you can use a string trimmer along the edge. It does an all right job, but nothing produces that manicured look. Like in other words, when you real mow a lawn, the lawn has a really nice manicured look. And to get a manicured edge, rotary scissors are really the only way that I have found to really do that. So for the guy or gal that has real mowing their lawn and has everything, but they don't have a pair of rotary scissors, that would be a good gift. I agree with you on that, Adam Starks. Already have a pair or have a set. But if I didn't have one, that would be a great gift. Next up is Patty Dre says, "Can the Toro Greenmaster 1000 handle a slope?" Yes, I use one on my slope all the time. Like if you look, I have to do a mowing video because some of you guys are saying, "Hey man, we want to see you mow the zoysia. You got to see a video of it." So I'll have to set up the camera and do it one of these times here, show you guys. But the Xeon that you see there, like that is mowed with a Greensmaster 1600. So it's a bit wider mower, but yes, that is, if your slope's like that, then the Greensmaster handles it just fine. Not quite as good as the Revolution, but it works well. You know what I mean? So you can use a Greensmaster on slope, no problem at all. So as long as you're like that, no issues. Let's see here. Brothers in Bitcoin says, "Hey Ron, each time I cut my lawn, guys, my lawn guys cut." Okay, so your lawn guys are mowing. You have someone to mow your lawn for you. "Every 2 weeks, my lawn starts to show brown patches. What could this be? Put down disease X last weekend. How would you approach the diagnosis?" Yeah, great question, brothers in Bitcoin. So the problem is, without even seeing the lawn, I'm going to say the mowing frequency is not enough. It's not frequent enough. So the lawn is green. You mow it. A couple of days later, you start seeing some brown patches or discoloration in the lawn. That's a telltale sign that whenever they're mowing it, they're taking off a lot of material, taking off too much material, which would absolutely be a problem with a lawn being only mowed every couple of weeks, especially if it's something like Bermuda. Like so, 2 weeks, once every 2 weeks is just not nearly enough for Bermuda lawn. If you want it to look nice, then if you want it to look like just respectable, you got to mow it weekly. Like once per week is just for it to look respectable. But if you want it to look really nice, manicured look, and if we're to maintain its color between mows, then that's where mowing twice per week is really going to be the barrier for entry. So like once on the weekends and then once during the middle of the week at some point, that's what's going to take to really have your lawn looking its absolute best. So I wouldn't throw fungicide at it. It's unlikely to be a disease problem. It's a mowing problem. It's a mowing frequency problem. So increase the mowing frequency and you will find that the lawn looks that much better. And I know it's easy for me to say, right? But if the people that you're paying to do it, you might be able to work out something with them where you say, "Hey, during the months of June, July, and August, can you guys mow every week?" And then you can go back to mowing every 2 weeks outside of that, and they'll likely charge you a bit more, but that's what it's going to take to get the lawn looking better between cuts. If you're just mowing it every 2 weeks, which I always make a joke about, I always say if you're cutting your lawn right before the HOA sends you a nasty letter, which is about every 2 weeks, it's never going to look good. It looked like it was mowed, but it's not going to look like it's not going to have that manicured look because you're just not mowing it frequently enough. All right. So sorry you're dealing with that, brothers in Bitcoin, but at least you know the solution to the problem. Put away the fungicide. It's not a disease problem. It is a mowing frequency problem is what you're dealing with. All right. So hopefully that helps. Others in Bitcoin. All right. All right. So next up, we have let's see here. John, that's not for me. John Williams. This is for, because if anyone has problems with gutter runoff from Ace, you can get these little plastic sock like things that zip down the down spouts and roll up when it rains. Yeah. So I used, I think you're talking about like the flex tubing. Like I used some of the corrugated like tubing, the black tubing you can get the big box stores. That's what I used on my downspouts to manage where the water goes. All right, Tom V's up next. He says, hey, Ron, sorry to be too late, but what height should new zoysia grass be cut? My sister has a new zoysia installed in November. Her lawn service recently cut it at 4.5 inches. That's kind of tall in my opinion. What would you recommend to tell the service company to cut it shorter? It all comes down to mowing frequency, man. So if they're only out mowing the lawn every couple of weeks, then I mean, 4 inches is still a bit tall in my opinion, but if they're not going to be mowing it very often, then that's probably going to be okay. You know, anywhere between 3 inches on the low end to 4 inches, 4.5 inches on the high end, if you're mowing it every couple of weeks, is probably going to be okay. I think zoysia does better if it is maintained shorter, you know, so if you're mowing it, really, I think it does its best if it's mowed under 1.5 inches. Like what you tend to find is that as zoysia is mowed taller, it tends to start getting like this kind of like a puffy look. Like, you know, with Bermuda grass, when you mow it, you know, if you mow Bermuda grass at like grass, the height it's supposed to be at, like, you know, under 1 inch, it's nice and even. It looks nicely manicured. Zoysia still looks really nice. Like the color's still great, but it tends to look just like shag, almost like shag carpet. You know what I mean? It looks okay, but it doesn't really have that nice manicured appearance. So for me, I would, and I guess I know I'm in the minority on this because I real mow my zoysia, but you know, if you can, the shorter you can maintain it, the better it's really going to look. And by shorter, I mean under 1.5 inches. You can do that if you have the time to do it. You have a service that'll do it for you, and the lawn is level enough to be able to do that without scalping. It's going to look really its best, and you're going to have less issues with drainage, less issues with disease. Because the thing with zoysia is when it gets thick, it gets really thick, and as far as it drying out, it tends to not do that as well as a grass like Bermuda. Like it holds a lot of moisture in the thatch layer if it's allowed to get really, really thick and tall. So mowing it shorter from an appearance standpoint is going to look better. You're also going to have less disease problems with it if it's maintained shorter. So hopefully that helps, Tom V. I mean, again, it's easy for me to say mow it shorter, but you know, mowing it shorter is going to mean a cost to her because she's going to have to, like, she's paying a service to do it. They're going to have to up the mowing frequency, you know? So they're out there only every couple of weeks, then you could probably get away with 3 inches, 2.5 to 3 inches with zoysia if you're mowing it every couple of weeks. But much shorter than that, you're going to have discoloration between mows. So I personally, shorter than 4.5 inches for sure is what I would tell you. All right. So hopefully that helps. But again, even shorter is better, but that requires more of a time commitment, which in her case is going to require more money because you're paying someone to do it. Okay, Simple Cash Offer is up next. It says, hey, Ron, I put down Headway G and Hydrotane Granular. Lawn has some yellowing. Is PGRs affecting how a fungus needs to grow out? No, I mean, it shouldn't. I mean, so your question is this: you applied hydrogen, you applied a fungicide, and the lawn has some yellowing. What is the yellowing from? Is it because of like drought, like lack of water? Is it from a disease problem? Like what is it that the yellowing is from? I guess would be my question. Is it from an over application of growth regulator that can cause like temporary yellowing? If it's from damage. And you're using plant growth regulator, would it cause the lawn to take longer to recover? No, I don't think so, man. I mean, I've got a few spots of spring dead spot in my lawn, and it didn't really take any longer to recover this year than it has in years past when I started with PGR sooner. So I'm inclined to say no. I'd want to know why the lawn is yellowing to be able to really answer this question well. Simple Cash Offer. But I'm inclined to say no. Okay, next up is Victor Z. He says, any downsides to top dressing with sandy loam? No, not really. So like I've like one of the services that I've used to top dress the lawn in the past used like a sandy loam for their top dressing mix, and it worked fine. So no, not really. And you said if it's fungus, so if it's a disease problem, something like large patch, yeah. So if it's like large patch, would with growth rate regulator make it take longer to recover. Uh, I mean, here's the thing. I've never actually dealt with that to be able to give you a good answer, simple cash offer. My lawn had a bit of spring dead spot in this year, so a few patches here and there, and it didn't really take any longer than normal to come back. So I'm inclined to tell you no, but it's hard to say for sure. Hard to say for sure as far as answering that question. I mean, if you want to, you could stop applying growth regulator and see if it grows in a bit faster, if it recovers a bit faster. I'm inclined to think that it's not really going to make a difference though. All right. Next up is, well, not that, that's not for me. And then let's see here. Next up is Marlon McBride. What's the email address? It's ron@golfcourselawn.com. So it is here. That's my email address that you can send me a question about. If I said send me an email on the live stream, then you feel free to email me, and I'll take a look at it and get you an answer over either after the live stream, or if you don't send it till this weekend, whenever I get the email from you, Marlon. Just make sure you say, hey, this is Marlon from the live stream, so I know that it's you and it's someone that I actually told to email me. All right. Okay, next up is Nepitz. He says, Ron, we had 5 to 7 inches of rain this past week. Monday, I put down 0.35 per thousand of T-Nex and will mow Sunday if water is not still standing. Hoping I don't scout, but we shall see. Sounds like a plan, I guess. I mean, 0.35, that's okay. I guess you're doing the higher rate or closer to the higher rate for Bermuda grass. You're down here in Dallas, Fort Worth. Sounds like a plan. And then next up is Dan Sutton. He says, hey, Ron, I love your show. New to this lawn love game. How can I spray my lawn, and not overlap or miss spots? I cannot see the blue dye very well. Any advice? So the dye is helpful, and also just practice, Dan. Practice is going to be the thing. So what I do, or something you can do is this, right? If you're spraying liquids on your lawn, if you do it in the morning when there's dew on the lawn, it's easier to see your spacing between passes. So how can I describe this? If you are walking, when I'm spraying my lawn and I walk down and I make a pass, I hold the sprayer out in front of me, like off my right hip, right? So when I make a pass down, and let's say I'm going, it's kind of hard to describe, but say I'm walking, I make a pass down the lawn and I'm going this way. I'm going to my left, right? When I get down making this pass and I like do an about face, I will walk pretty much on the same line, maybe a little bit over on that same line, with the sprayer again held slightly off to my right. And what that does is it gives you a nice light, gentle overlap, so you're not overspraying, not spraying too heavy, and it makes sure you get really good coverage. I've done this for years. That's how I've always done my sprays. And it works really well. Like it's really consistent as far as like my sprayer pretty much running out of product at the same time. Like normally on my lawn, whenever I'm doing the second tank full, it normally runs out when I'm about to start. If I count the post, like for the fence that the neighbor has, like on the 11th post, that's pretty much where I run out of solution. It pretty much happens every time. But a way to kind of gauge that when you're learning is to spray in the morning, because the dew, like the footprints from that you'll make in the lawn from the dew, will make it easier to see how far you're spacing or how far you're moving with each one. And then with the indicator dye, if you can just add a bit more, because it should show up pretty well, but if you're not using quite enough of it, maybe add a little bit more so it shows up a bit more. That's going to make it easier for you to see like what you sprayed and what you haven't sprayed. All right, but it's just a practice thing. The more you do it, the easier it's going to get, and then soon you'll get to the point where you don't even have to use indicator dye to spray your lawn. Like when I go out and I spray my lawn now, I don't use marker dye. Like when I sprayed the front lawn with Recognition and Fusilade, I didn't use a spray indicator dye because, again, I spray the lawn so often. I know how to walk it and how to use my equipment to where I get even coverage. And it's something you'll be able to do too after you get lots of practice doing it. So that's what I would tell you. Just keep working at it, and it'll get better with practice. All right, next up is Dan Marlon. He says, thank you. You're very welcome, Marlon. And then next up we have, it's me 2017. He says, I have to put zoysia near Bermuda because of lack of sun between the homes. Which zoysia matches best with Bermuda in case they touch each other? There's not really one. I don't think zoysia looks anything like Bermuda. I mean, you could do, yeah, there's not really one. I mean, Zenith is a slightly coarser blade, but no, there's not. Zoysia looks like zoysia. Bermuda looks like Bermuda. Like the color looks different, the texture of the grass is different, the blades look different. There's not. I can't think of a zoysia that looks like Bermuda grass to where they will they'll blend nicely together and you won't be able to see that there's something else in the lawn. If you have an area that is just zoysia, it's just going to be zoysia, you could just do that. The only negative is that if it's an area that also gets a lot of sunlight, although it's really slow, the zoysia will begin to creep, begin to spread into the Bermuda grass, and there's not really a way to fix that. Like, in other words, if you have Bermuda going into the zoysia, that's easy to fix. If you have zoysia going where you don't want it, which again, it's going to take a really long time for it to do that, like that is not an easy problem to fix. So if you got the zoysia moving into your Bermuda grass, you're kind of going to have to just live with it. You know what I mean? There's not really a way to selectively remove the zoysia out of your Bermuda lawn. But as far as one that matches, I'm not aware of one, man. They look pretty different to me. All right, we're winding down here. Last few comments. We have Sheldon M. He says, hey, Ron, I have a follow-up question. How long does or can prodiamine produce any concerns to the soil if I spray near an area where the garden will be set? Normally 3 to 4 months. 3 to 4 months is what you can expect, Sheldon. So 3 to 4 months. All right. Michael Raymond says, thoughts on spoon feeding every 10 days versus the 1st and the 15th? I don't know what it really would get you. I mean, I guess if you're going to back the rate down to where if you're spraying every 10 days, you're putting out the same amount of product over the course that you would spray over the course of a month, then it's like 6 half a dozen, but it's just just more work. And I don't know that you really are getting yourself anything. You know what I mean, Michael? So can you? I guess, but is there any reason to do it? In my opinion, no. Like that's definitely getting into the juice is not really worth the squeeze type of thing. There was, you know what? There was a period in 2023, I think like 2 years ago. It was either 2022 or 2023, where for 1 month, I spoon fed the lawn every week. I instead of doing it once every couple of weeks, I did it every single week. And it was more work, and the lawn didn't really look any better than spraying it every 2 weeks. So I never did that again. So every 10 days, I don't think you're really getting yourself anything. So I have tested this, even a slightly more extreme example of what you're doing. I have done like every 7 days, and it's like, this is a lot of work, and it looks the same as every 2 weeks. So I never do that anymore. Okay, Gerald Jennings says, Ron, the viewers who have others cut their grass, I say shame on them. Not necessarily, man. Not everybody. Here's the thing: not everybody likes mowing their lawn or has the time to do it. So I wouldn't say that. I mean, if you enjoy mowing, if you enjoy mowing your grass, you should do so. It's like people that say, if you make a bunch of money, why would you mow your own lawn? You should have someone else pay someone to do it. No matter how much money I make, like mowing my lawn, as long as I'm like physically able to do so, is something I'm more than likely going to do because I enjoy doing it. There's a lot of people that don't enjoy mowing their grass. They don't like doing that. So, and for them, I guess, you can pay a service to do it. The challenge you're going to run into is that most lawn care services or guys that come out and mow your lawn, like for them to mow your lawn on the frequency that would be required to get like a golf course lawn look is going to be expensive. It's going to be prohibitively expensive. You know what I mean? Because you're talking about mowing it, like if you're really trying to do it right, having them mow it every couple of weeks, which is going to be expensive versus every 2 weeks, which is what most places do. You know what I mean? So if you don't have the time to do it, if you have money, if you hate doing it and you got the money to pay someone else to do it, I get it. And you're not really picky, meaning you don't want the lawn to really have this manicured appearance, then sure, pay someone else to do it. But if you want it to look really, really stand out, you're either going to have to invest a lot in paying a service to come out more frequently, or you're going to have to do it yourself. What you could do is you could pay a service to do one cut, and you can do the one like the midweek cut yourself. You could do that. But really, if you're really serious about having your lawn look as good as possible, you're really going to mow it yourself, or have someone come and use your equipment to mow your lawn. Because whenever you have someone else mow your lawn, like they're going from lawn to lawn to lawn, and they're bringing, clippings, weed seeds, potentially disease from other lawns, they're bringing into your lawn. So there's a lot of reasons to just not do that. But again, I get it. Not everybody has the time or just desire to even work on their lawn that much. So completely understand it. All right. Next up is Gary Kelly Jr. He says, Ron, not sure what it is, but the intro music to the live stream and the music to your other videos is very calming. How long did it take you to find those racks? So the one for the live stream took a while. It was, I did that intro video a few years ago, and it was weeks and weeks and weeks of going through the music catalog for the provider that I used to find the right song. So in other words, I found the song first that I liked, and then I edited the video to that song. So if you look at the song, like all the cuts and everything that's in that, like literally it's the song is what drives how all the transitions and everything that are in that video. And it's just like that. I only have I have probably 20 or 30 pieces of music that I use in my YouTube content. And it's just music that, like, if I weren't mowing my lawn, if I weren't doing it in a video, I'd like to listen to myself. So yeah, but the one for the live stream is a track called Midrib by, what's his name? The guy that did it is like Zach Ezzy or Easy or however you pronounce it, but it's called Midrib. Midrib, M-I-D-R-I-B is the name of the song. And again, it took me a while to find it. And the edit was, took a lot of time. There are several rounds of that edit to get it to where you guys see it now. And it's worth it because it's what I use every single week, and it came up pretty nice. So I like it. I'm glad that you enjoy it too. Appreciate that. All right. J.S. Mees says, we're getting more than enough rain here in Georgia, but these rainy days are messing with our daily hours of needed sun. I feel like my Bermuda is growing, but not really filling in like past seasons. The days are a bit more overcast, but we're still getting plenty of sunlight. Like my lawn still looks pretty good with the amount of sunlight that we're getting. So I'm inclined to say no, Jay Smees. We're still getting enough sunlight that Bermuda should do fairly well. And he says, are we able to send photos of our lawn to diagnose? Yes, if you're on the live stream and you have a question about it, you can send it in to me. But generally, unless you're like a member of the Golf Course Lawn Academy, like I don't, like all throughout the week, I don't take pictures from people because I would get a ton of email then if that were the case. But if you want to send a picture, TD, of an issue of something particular that's going on in your lawn, then yeah, feel free to email me, ron@golfcourselawn.com. Just say, hey, this is TD from the live stream, and then I'll answer your question. If you do that, be sure to let me know what kind of grass you have. It should be obvious from the pictures, but say, hey, my grass type is this, and then what the issue is that you're having in the lawn that you want me to give some feedback on. So those things are important. Kind of grass you have, and the issue in particular, and then be concise. Like, don't write me, a chapter. Don't write me like, the Art of War. As far as everything, just be pretty concise, and I'll be able to look at it and just give you feedback on what I'm seeing. All right. And then next up we have CPIMS. He says, as far as fungus and PGR, I've had a breakout of what possibly looks like dollar spot, or maybe the start of large patch or brown patch. I put down fungicide the other week. Okay. Sounds like a plan. See, Colin. And then CXG5 Live says, hey, Ron, love the show. Just got my second soil test done. Last one was in February. My sulfur levels are through the roof. Should I be concerned? Send you the results right now. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. What I would say is just don't use products that are gonna add a bunch of sulfur to the soil. I've looked at a lot of soil tests. I look at a lot of soil tests every single week, and I've yet to see a lawn where higher sulfur, like both sulfur and calcium, where higher sulfur levels like held the lawn back from looking good. It's just one of those things where you look at that, you say, oh, my sulfur levels are really high. I'm going to make a conscious decision to not, add products that are going to add a lot more sulfur to it, is what I would tell you. CXG5 Life. So it shouldn't really hold you back. All right. And then next up is Billy Bob. He says, thank you for another great show, Ron. See you next week. Enjoy Father's Day weekend, Mauro. I appreciate that, man. Hopefully you're doing well, Mauro. Happy Father's Day to you as well. And then Robert Size, I guess. He says, hey, Ron, I outer side Bermuda. What would you say? I laid Bermuda and I cut it today at about a month. When can I spray for weeds? And what would you suggest I spray in SoCal? Okay, so you lay the Bermuda sod. You've been mowing it. You started mowing it today, a month in. Probably waited a little bit longer than you should have, but I mean that's okay. We're here now. When can I spray for weeds? So if you've got a month in, yeah, if you want to use herbicides to spot spray for weeds, that would be fine. As far as what you can use, depends on the weeds you have in your lawn. I would tell you Celsius, but you can't get Celsius in California because California. And so your next recommendation for broadleaf weed control is going to be a 3-way, something like Triad. So this would be an option for broadleaf weed control in your Bermuda lawn. And then for sedge control, I would put you into Certainty. So I'll send you links to both of these, Robert. Like you can kind of build your own like warm season kit using these two products. Celsius, Triad for your, again, for broadleaf control, and then Certainty for your sedge, and then next spring, potentially Poa annua control. All right. So that would be it. And then make sure you get, for at least for one of them, get the kit that has a surfactant and dye. And then essentially you'll have like a warm season kit that can be used in California. All right. So this is the, where you can find both of them right there on the Golf Course Lawn Store. So again, Certainty, I'm going to type it out for you. Certainty and Triad. All right. Those two is what I would go with. All right. And then a last comment of the evening, it looks like, is Daniel Sebastini. He says, "Hey, Ron, thanks for the show. My backyard looks like crap this year, for lack of a better word. Okay. Zoysia is struggling to get back. I did my soil test. pH was at 5.5. Low calcium, low magnesium, low iron. Put down dolomitic lime. Anything else? Yeah, so you did dolomitic lime. That's good. That's going to help raise your pH and magnesium levels. You didn't tell me about your other nutrient levels, so I would say, a good fertilizer that has, unless your phosphorus levels are low too, a good fertilizer that has nitrogen and potassium in it. Like I like our 1608, like Humic Max. That's a great option. That would be good for like regular feeding of the lawn, and then just regular mowing. Just mowing is the big thing. So assuming your lawn is getting enough sunlight, you're already correcting the pH, the soil pH being outside of the range that's optimal, and then just regular feeding is what I would tell you. So Humic Max 1608, great product. It's what I personally use on my lawn, and would recommend, assuming your lawn doesn't need phosphorus. Your soil doesn't need phosphorus. All right. So this guy right here, Daniel. Sounds like you're doing, he says, high and optimal P and K. Okay, so I just saw your other comment here. Optimal P and K. So yeah, so in that case, just work on getting your pH up and just mow it, and that you should be in a good spot. It should eventually should improve. When you say it looks like crap, that can mean a lot of things. So the thing I would tell you is this: outside of a good nutrient program, which again, I think a lawn benefits from regular inputs of nitrogen and potassium at low rates, the thing that's gonna help tie all of it together is regular mowing. So assuming you're doing those things, you're regularly mowing the lawn, that should put you in a good spot. And again, this is the fertilizer that I was talking about that I think is great for regular feeding every 4 to 6 weeks on your lawn. And then the last question of the evening is, it's me. He says, I'm thinking about starting a prestige lawn care service for folks that want it but can't do it. Do you think it would do well in the Dallas-Fort Worth area? Depends on the customer for the clientele you're going after. I mean, you figure if you had to do everything that it takes to create really a manicured lawn, like real mowing out there every few days, I mean, you're talking, it's going to be more like $1,000 a month. I mean, you'd have to really target an affluent neighborhood, like an affluent cohort, to really make that make sense. Now, and are there people that would do it? Probably, sure. I'm pretty sure there are. But I mean, it's not something that you're going to be offering to most people, because like what it's going to take from a time standpoint And if you're also doing, like you're doing everything, so pretty much they're just paying you and you're going to show up, you're going to do the fertilizer, the fungicide, like a pre-immersion, the mowing, you can do all of that. It's going to be expensive. You know what I mean? But it's like, it's a boutique service for like boutique results. Like you're getting results that are not going to be, that are very outside of the norm, and it's going to cost a lot. So absolutely there's a market for it. I mean, if Cartier and Louis Vuitton and Harry Winston can sell, 5-figure, 6-figure pieces of jewelry, and they can sell all that they can make, you can absolutely find people that will, that are willing to pay for a pristine, a boutique lawn care type service. But just realize that you just have to find them. I mean, you have to get the neighborhoods where the people that can afford that, might be more difficult to get into, probably gonna be a gated community. And a lot of these people likely already have landscapers, like people that are actually within on their staff or their family office that helps take care of that kind of stuff for them. So it's going to be work finding it, but to answer your question, is there a market for it? Or are there people that would pay for that? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Can absolutely be done. All right. On that bombshell, we will cue the outro music. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to come hang out this evening. Next week's going to be a great show, man. We're going to have Devin. He's the golf course superintendent for the club at Flying Horse out of Colorado Springs. So he sent me some pictures already of his lawn, some things he's working on. So any of you cool season folks that want a show that is more catered to you, or have questions about like creating a golf green at home, or what goes into creating a golf green, or just a program related to like, professional turf, like that's even outside of what we're even doing, feel free to tune in next week, because he'll be on for a few hours. We'll be there to answer your questions. He's a great guy and is a wealth of knowledge that I think you guys will benefit from. So again, thank you guys so much for taking the time to hang out. Have an amazing weekend. For all the fathers out there, have a great Father's Day weekend. Get out and mow the lawn, do something fun in the lawn. If you like Formula One, I think the Canadian Grand Prix is on this weekend, so watch that. And again, for any of you guys that are watching between now and midnight, you still have 2 hours to save a little bit on your next purchase of the Golf Course Lawn Store by filling out a very short survey, by giving us feedback on your thoughts of what you do in your lawn care program. It's going to be the pinned comment on the show, and we'd love to hear from you guys. Again, thank you guys so much. Have an amazing weekend. I'll see you guys next week. Take care.